Ahmed, that wide player, and he's up against someone equally who's in good form in Noni Madueke. So I think it's important that he tries to get help from in front. He tries to kind of double up on him, because I think 1v1, I think Noni Madueke would have looked at the tape against Ahmed against Christensen and thought, do you know what, we can get joy on this side.
Yeah, Ahmad Diallo had Victor Christensen's number in that game 2 weeks ago when Manchester United beat Leicester City by 3 goals to nil. It was a flattering scoreline actually, but it does mean that Leicester City have lost 3 of their last 4, and the only one they didn't lose was to Ipswich. That was a draw. And they're under pressure here because Chelsea have won a free kick. Madueke has won it by jaunting down the right, cutting in on his left foot. Palmer flicks the ball from the free kick deep to the far post, headed back across the face of goal by Colwell. There was no one to latch onto it, and away by Vardy it goes up into the afternoon sky. It's grey and miserable in the East Midlands, with the wind howling around this stadium and the rain still coming down, although not as intently as it was earlier in the day. It is worth pointing out that despite those recent defeats, though, Leicester have more points at this stage than they did under Brendan Rodgers in that final season when they eventually suffered relegation to the Championship.
They've played well at times this season, but I just think Leicester at times out of possession, they almost get caught in between, like 1 or 2 of them going press, and then the rest of the team kind of back off, so there's gaps all over the place, and you can see quite now in that 4-2-3-1 how kind of compact they are. There's no real gaps. Chelsea tried to play there, but there's nowhere to kind of play, and I think for 90 minutes today they're going to have to do that, because when you've got the likes of Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke coming off the line, you've got João Felix just popping up in little pockets. If you're not switched on and you're not communicating, these are top quality players. They'll just pass it through you.
5 minutes gone, 0-0 on Talk Sport. Caleb Okoli stabs the ball forward to no one in particular. Through the centre circle it runs, and it goes all the way back to Wesley Fofana in that sort of unconventional setup for Chelsea today, with a back 3 instead of a 4. Chelsea have not been at the top of their game in the weeks running up to the international break, but they've lost just 1 of their last 5 and none of their last 10 in total, and that was against the leaders Liverpool. They are rarely beaten by those they are not supposed to be beaten by, and Leicester would probably, from their fans' point of view at least, fall into that category. Pinched by James Justin ahead of João Felix, who did well enough to win it back, and then there's space now over on the left for Marc Cucurella to exploit. A first-time cross into the box, almost came through to Palmer, will be retrieved by Jackson inside the penalty area, followed by Caleb Okoli. Backs out of the box and towards Caicedo, lifts it towards the right edge of the area, but Chelsea are challenging for it, but the blonde hair of Victor Christensen comes out, clears the halfway, and Chelsea try to funnel forward again. Caicedo plays it off Harry Winks and then gets it to Enzo Fernandez. His return ball to Madueke is a poor one, and Harry Winks, who's had a good start to the season, will bring the ball clear with a lovely little pirouette in the left full-back position. 0-0. Yeah,
Chelsea got themselves in a really good position there, and for me, Cucurella, I mean, it's a fantastic ball to him by Bada-Shields, who just left it in that left-hand side channel, but the crossing from Cucurella was poor. Like, he cut it behind everybody.
The press has been good though. They've won the ball back on this near touchline, deep inside Leicester territory. Over on the right as Chelsea look at it, they've won a throw-in, which Madueke will toss into Wesley Fofana, Mr. Unpopular.
Was it more the way he left Leicester, which is why they're booing him?
I think so. I mean, look, he was always going to move on to pastures. You know, they made a hell of a lot of money on him, so there is certainly benefits to the departure, and I don't think he's necessarily kicked on at the level, the price point that Chelsea paid for him. He's had injuries again since he's been at Chelsea, so...
Well, he had quite a big injury when he first got there, didn't he?
Yeah. They ended up missing the whole of the first season, really. Enzo Maresca's just taken a seat inside the technical area down in front of us. Steve Cooper watching on as Chelsea win their first corner of the game, near side the right, and it's a short one to Cole Palmer. They weren't switched on to his availability. His left-footed shot ends up hitting the back of Jamie Vardy, who came out to block him. It's collected on this near side by Enzo Fernandez again, who whips the ball towards the penalty spot. Caleb Okoli rises, strong, powerful header from the central defender for Leicester, but Chelsea have it again with João Felix halfway inside opposition territory. Cucurella, full control. Samare comes across and presses him. The ball breaks to the far side. Samare's there again, wins it, and then the ball goes out over on the far side. I think that's going to be a throw into Leicester City.
That is going to be a fascinating battle.
Stanchi di brutte esperienze con le auto a noleggio? Smettete di confrontare i prezzi. Il noleggio premium di Centauro è la tua migliore opzione.
In recent times is a prime example of that. Russell Martin this season at Southampton. I think you can try things and get away with things more so in the Championship than the Premier League because, I mean, you talk about one of the best leagues in the world. I think if you play a certain way and you leave space, you leave gaps, and you then turn the ball over in bad areas, 9 times out of 10 in the Premier League you'll get punished.
You are listening to Leicester 0, Chelsea 0 on TalkSport and the Talk Network with Sky Sports, and don't forget that you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Manchester City versus Tottenham live today. Search Now Sport. And my question to that would be also is that this idea of keeping possession for possession's sake and building up slowly obviously has its merits because you try to tire out your opponents and then pull them apart so that there is an overload on the other side or in other areas of the field. But when you've got players like Neto not available today, when you've got players like Madueke who's very fast and quick and tricky, Jackson, you've got speed. Why not move it quickly? I'll ask you that in just a second because Oliver Skipp is being readied because it looks like Harry Winks is going to come off and be replaced after just 10 minutes. That's a big blow.
Big blow because Harry Winks has started off quite well. Certainly from a defensive standpoint, getting his position. He's probably in a position where he's picked up a couple of second balls and then getting the ball comfortable in possession. The fact that he's going off so early in the game tells me maybe that he was maybe carrying something going into this game, but that's a big blow for Leicester.
Yeah, Oliver Skipp, who was brought in the summer by Steve Cooper from Tottenham Hotspur. And he's on the field now and he'll just slot into the role vacated by Harry Winks. And we wish him the best. We hope that's not a significant injury. But as Darren said, there must have been something, I think, in the background there. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the decision so early. But it is a setback for Leicester. 0-0 the score. And here is Moises Caicedo. Over on TalkSport 2, by the way. We've got commentary against Sheffield United with commentary. Still looking for a new manager, allegedly, although we think that Frank Lampard will be in charge there very soon. Here's Cucurella over on the far touchline for Chelsea. Back to Badiashile and then across to Wesley Fofana. And then it's out on this near touchline to Madueke again. Madueke faces up Christensen, then dips his shoulder, comes infield, nudges it to Fofana. Again, that patient build-up from Chelsea, a lot of it happening amongst the three centre-backs. And you may question that. Here is Badiashile clipping the ball to the near side. Madueke brings it down, left angle of the penalty area. Lovely cross towards the far post, and it was aimed towards João Felix, who almost got there, and it was scuppered away by Casey McAteer and to relative safety. But Chelsea have possession again, within 15 yards of the edge of the penalty area. They come through the middle of the pitch now. Caicedo switches it wide right. Madueke's got it again. He looks hot. Enzo Fernandez, lots of space down the right side, thrashes the ball through the 6-yard box. He needed to just get some loft on that because Chelsea had an overload at the far post and it goes out for a corner.
He chose the complete wrong option there. I mean, it's a great run from Enzo Fernandez and a lovely little ball from Noni Madueke. But if you look at Cole Palmer, he goes in and just pulls out to the penalty spot and he's free. I mean, if he gets his head up and have a look, it's a really good run. Cole Palmer just steps out into a really nice position, and if he feeds it, he's got Caicedo there, he's got Cole Palmer, but he goes to just smash it, and even if it gets past Akoli, the goalkeeper probably gobbles it up anyway.
Palmer with a delivery in towards the near post, flicked away by Boutpass, comes back out to João Felix, who slashes it goalwards, and it goes well wide. Actually had a good international break. He played twice for Portugal, scored against Croatia, did João Felix, and he was on the edge of the penalty area, lashing the ball goalwards as it dropped out from the Boutpass header away from the corner, but he was about 5 yards wide of the touchline. Sheffield United has scored over on TalkSport 2. They lead Coventry by a goal to nil, and Sheffield United can go top of the tree momentarily if they win at the CBS Arena live on TalkSport 2. Here it's goalless. Lots of other games, by the way, kicking off at 12:30 today, including Burnley away at Bristol City and Sheffield Wednesday against Cardiff in League One. Bolton Ball, Shrewsbury against Birmingham, Stevenage against Leyton Orient, Grimsby Colchester in League Two, and Notts County against Newport. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in here on Game Day exclusive. Here is the corner, swung into the far post again. It's aimed towards Caicedo, comes back to João Felix, again on the edge of the box, tries to hit it first time, goes way over the top of the crossbar.
I mean, that one was better than the first one. The first one he tried to cut across it and he's got it completely wrong on that one. At least he got a good, firm, hard volley on it, just from in the edge of the D. But you just get the technique's nice, but he just gets too much power on it. And that's been a couple of times. I don't really like seeing sides defending corners, not leaving anyone on the edge of the box, because that's two sides he's had in the last 4 minutes. Next time, you never know, it might end up in the back of the net. I always like to see two players, or at least one, just affect what happens at the edge of the box.
Well, I mean, we played 15 minutes and Leicester have barely laid a glove on the game, let alone Chelsea. They've had 19% of the ball, so Chelsea have had 81% of it so far. They haven't had anything as far as forward pass is concerned. They've just given away an opportunity to Jackson on the edge of the area, and he's stuck into the back of the net, and inevitably Chelsea have taken the lead. Well, Belfast has been out-muscled on the edge of the penalty area by Nicholas Jackson. He's robbed him of the ball, and as it's bounced off Enzo Fernandez and come back to the Senegalese, he's pushed it into the far corner past Hermansen. He's taken 15 minutes for Enzo Maresca to get his new team in front against his old team, and I must admit, it's been coming, because Leicester have barely turned up.
As good a goal as that is from Nicholas Jackson, that is awful defending from Wout Faes, because he sees it all the way from the goal kick, from the goalkeeper. It bounces and it comes back, and then it bounces and he's in control of it. Just clear it or head it back to the goalkeeper. He tries to out-muscle Nicholas Jackson. He tries to show everyone how strong he is. And to be fair, it's a great little pass from Enzo Fernandez. But the touch from Nicholas Jackson at the very end, just to take it away from Macaulay, just to create that angle, was fantastic. Just a little touch over his foot, and then the outside of his foot on the outside of his foot into that far corner. It's a really, really composed finish from Nicholas Jackson, but it should have never got to that stage in the first place, because Wout Faes had more than enough opportunities to clear it. He doesn't, and when you're playing against a side like Chelsea, with the quality they've got in the final third, that is a fantastic finish from Nicholas Jackson.
I mean, it's been a poor start to the game by Leicester City, and that is poor defending. That goal came from a goal kick from Hermansen. He kicked it long. Badiashile just volleyed it back into an area. The ball's bounced, and he should never have let it bounce in the first place, Wout Faes. And then he was in control of the situation, and he just got pushed off the ball by Nicholas Jackson. No one kept an eye on Fernandez, who crept into the area. He played the ball back to Jackson. Bosh, 1-0.
But that was the problem. I mean, if you're Wout Faes in that scenario, you know the ball's not going to run through to your goalkeeper. So what do you do? As it bounces the first time, which it shouldn't do, just clear it. You hack it over your shoulder, you pull it out for a throw-on, everyone gets back into shape, Leicester get back into shape, and then that's that situation dealt with. The fact he's from halfway line to where the goal was scored, he's tried to show everyone how strong he is. I can out-muscle Nicholas Jackson. He doesn't, but again, the little bit of quality that Nicholas Jackson shows in that final bit, just to take it away from Macaulay, and then on the half volley with the outside of his foot, find that far corner. It was a lovely finish.
Lovely finish for a player who, as I mentioned beforehand, scores a lot of goals away from home, and they're on the march here again with João Felix charging to the edge of the area, trying to shoot it to the left-hand side, just carried it a little bit too far, got crowded out by a glob of blue shirts, and it's cleared eventually towards the halfway line. But every time the ball goes up towards the Chelsea half of the field, they just get it back and turn it back over again. I mean, I don't think Jamie Vardy's touched the ball yet. And that's the problem Leicester have got right, and that's where I can understand the frustration, is that if you're going to play Vardy up front on his own, he's effectively against four, because you've got Caicedo kind of marshalling the back three. You've got to give it to him with quality. You can't just kick it anywhere. Madueke off to Fernandez, back-heeled into Madueke again, a low ball in towards the near post. Palmer is there to poke it goalwards. It's flicked away, and it's just about cleared by James Justin, and then cleared up over the halfway line. It's Jamie Vardy looking to try and get in behind, but again, there's three players for him to deal with. By the way, can't get beyond the back line of Chelsea.
By the way, there, Christensen's lucky. If Nolan Madueke goes down there, it's a penalty. He's got his hands all over his shoulders. There's a clash of knees as well. If he goes down, Nolan Madueke, for me, it's a penalty. It's a penalty.
And no team had scored fewer first goals in matches than Leicester this season. No team have conceded more first goals in matches than Leicester City. And they've conceded the first goal here. 10th time this season that has happened. Here is Caicedo. Forward towards Badiashile. Out on the left is Cucurella. And look, despite having more points than Southampton and Ipswich, the relationship between their head coach and their supporters has been affected by some of the things that he says, some of the things he does, and some of the things he just can't help. And I don't know what he can do about the fact that Belfast just allows Nicholas Jackson to bully him.
And that's where I have sympathy with certain managers, because in that scenario there, you're taught as a schoolboy, Sam, from 10 years old, if the ball, first of all, you don't let the ball bounce.
Let it bounce, yeah.
And if it bounces, you then deal with it. The fact he hasn't done anything, and he's allowed Nicholas Jackson and Enzo Fernandez to get themselves in there, and again, it's a really fantastic finish, but he should have never got that far in that phase of play.
Madueke down the right side, looking to get the better of Christensen, and does, and sends the ball in towards the near post, and Bass just about gets it away. I mean,
Sei impegnata quando arriva qualcuno?
Ehi, sono io. Entra. Alexa, apri la porta.
Apri la porta solo con la tua voce. Con Alexa e Ring Intercom.
lovely ball out towards the far touchline by Caicedo. Enzo Maresca knows Leicester better than anyone. He's taking advantage of that at the moment. Another ball into the box. Madueke gets there because it wasn't dealt with by Christensen. He's twisting and turning on the left. He's just overplayed it this time. And across comes El Kanous and will drag them out on this near side. At least he's got a little bit about him, and he goes between two Chelsea players and sends it out the other side. And now McAteer on the first attack. It's taken 20 minutes, and he runs down a blind alley. Cucurella wins it, and the ball runs to Caicedo. Indeed, he snaps into a tackle, gives away a free kick. Andy Madley gives it to Chelsea, and they play quickly and get the ball forward right up the pitch on the left-hand side at quick speed. On to Jackson, the goal scorer, as Chelsea lead by 1-0 here. Into João Felix. Again, they start to slow proceedings down, Chelsea. Do they need three defenders, by the way, at the back, Chelsea?
They don't, but I think they're just creating an overload. They're trying to keep Leicester honest. But again, it's so intelligent in what they're doing. Cucurella's playing so high, and they almost kind of amble it out to him, and then quickly they shift it to Noni Madueke, who's 1v1.
Here is Enzo Fernandez looking to feed João Felix in the inside left channel. Bass reacts to it this time, steps out, brings the ball clear, then gives it away to Caicedo. I mean, the crowd are getting very irate here. And I can understand why, because they are not in this game.
In that scenario there, I have a little bit of sympathy for Wout Faes, because he does well initially, intercepts the ball, and he gets his head up and there's not a pass on. Vardy's come short, everyone's on their heels, and no one's really making an angle for him, so he ends up giving the ball away.
Commentary 1, Sheffield United 1. A challenge on Cole Palmer generates a yellow card for Wilfred Ndidi over on the other side. And the Chelsea players were not happy with that, and there is going to be a VAR check here. The referee just speaking to Paul Tierney. Enzo Fernandez has gone across, the Chelsea captain, to have a word with Andy Madley, but Cole Palmer has been wired into over on the far side by Ndidi. It was late, there's no doubt about it, and it's right down the back of his Achilles. And I'm surprised that I'd be surprised if there's not even a glance at the VAR.
I mean, it's awful. I mean, whether it's a red card or not, the only thing I'd say is where he catches him with his studs, it's quite low on the back of the heel, but there's intent there. The ball's nowhere to be seen. The ball's gone. It's quite blatant in what he does. The fact they're not going to check it and have a look at the screen, I'm a little bit surprised about that.
Is it endangering the safety of an opponent?
Yes, I agree with that part, 100%. He's got away one there, Wilfred, indeed. The fact that the referee's not even going to check it is a little bit naughty.
I think he is a very lucky boy. The referee just stopping the game now because he hasn't blown the whistle, so he wants the free kick taken from a different zone. There is a very unhappy Chelsea contingent opposite us, and a very unhappy Mr. Cole Palmer as well. Here is Palmer. In centrally to Fernandez, and back towards Fofana on the near touchline, and then it goes back into the centre circle where Colwell keeps hold of it, gives it back to Palmer over on the far side, and then in behind to Cucurella, who sends the ball across the 6-yard box. It comes back out to Caicedo. He's going to crack it, and he's going to miss kick it edge of the box. That was a honker.
That was, I should be laughing at that, but that from Caicedo, I mean, he completely wound it up as well to have a strike. But again, Cucurella, fantastic running behind the fullback, James Justin, but he chooses the wrong option. I think if he cuts it back along that 6-yard box, you've got João Felix there with the tap in. I think João Felix is just telling him that. Again, they've worked it so well on either flank, but in that scenario there, if he rolls it across the box, João Felix has a tap in.
Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, who also left Leicester for Chelsea. In fact, a lot of people leave Leicester for Chelsea over the years. N'Golo Conte, Ben Chilwell, we mentioned Fofana, also Danny Drinkwater back in the day, and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. He's just come out to warm up in Chelsea tracksuit, and he's got a round of applause from those away to his left-hand side. A couple of goals going in the Championship. Burnley have taken the lead away at Bristol City. They lead by a goal to nil. Bristol City on a really good run at this moment. Coventry City have equalised against Sheffield United. 1-1 over on Talk Sport 2. It's 0-0 everywhere else in the EFL this lunchtime. Just going to take me back to that. There's another foul over on João Felix this time. And it was Wilfred Ndidi again who was involved in that, although I think it was James Justin who did the final bit of sandwiching from behind. Just take me back to that Ndidi tackle on Cole Palmer. There's absolutely no chance of him playing the ball.
No.
He's that far away. Should that have an impact on the decision-making process?
Yes, because it's blatant. That means you can't use the excuse, well, I was going for the ball, ref, because the ball had already gone. So I do think he's extremely lucky. I mean, we've got the fortunate, we've got the replays here. But to rake someone's Achilles like that, it's dangerous, that. The fact that they didn't check it, though, when he doesn't go to the screen, I find that very bizarre.
Well, I mean, what they will say is that referee's call was yellow card, and they don't think there's enough evidence for him to be told to overturn it, because it wasn't significant enough to say that's a definite red card and he's made a howler. Be interesting to see actually on X, the PGMOL released the reasons behind VAR checks, etc. See if they've put anything out about that. We'll have a look for you and bring it to you here on TalkSport. It's 1-0 to Chelsea, and Leicester City are slowly but surely getting more of the ball. I think they've probably, oh no they haven't, they've lost percentage. 17% of the ball in the game. And Steve Cooper needs to do something, I think, to rectify this situation, because Chelsea at this moment are not only taking control of the game, but they've got it in the palm of their hand. And actually, Enzo Maresca needs to take advantage of that before half-time.
Yeah, he does, because Leicester now start to get 1 or 2 passes in. I think El Kanous has been the one that's tried to get on the ball. He's tried to make things happen. He's looked really lively. But, I mean, if you look at the body language of the two managers, I mean, Chelsea are winning 1-0, and Enzo Maresca's more irate than Steve Cooper's side, who haven't laid a glove on Chelsea yet, which is quite surprising. But I do think if Leicester can get the ball to El Kanous in the final third, he looks like he's lively. He's gone he had one run earlier that was really intelligent, but there was no pass at the end of it. I think he's got the ability to go past someone and make something happen.
Here is Samare bringing the ball out of defence, trying to knock it wide to James Justin. He gets over the halfway line, and then before he can reach Cucurella, it's pummeled out and out of play, because Casey McAteer was in an advanced position, but Cucurella got there first, put it out of play. I don't think that Leicester have managed to get the ball or a touch in the final third yet. They've gone backwards rather than forwards here. On the halfway line they are, without pass across to Caleb Okoli. He plays it out towards the near touchline, and Victor Christensen, the Dane turns the ball back in field and plays Bilal El Kanous into possession. He holds it up, long and lean, and wearing a long sleeve shirt today, El Kanous. A bit different the temperature from the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. He was playing with Morocco earlier in the week, and now they've given the ball away and a chance to get on the break here, Chelsea. Here is Cole Palmer. He slows it up again, and he's just rubbing the back of that ankle. He doesn't look particularly comfortable.
Those are sore ones, Sam. I'm telling you, when someone just rakes the back of your Achilles, or even if it's accidental, it's one of those where it's sore for a little while, and it's one of those you'll feel it now, but the after effects after the game, once his game finishes, it will really swell up. But yeah, really naughty from Wilfred Ndidi there, because he makes no attempt to play the ball.
28 gone. 0-0. Here is Colwell. Again at a walking pace, waiting, releasing Palmer, who's tackled from behind by Samare. He's got another whack, he's gone down, he's getting treatment here. Caicedo wins it back as they play on. And then another late challenge by Samare on Felix. He's gone down. He's picked up by Madueke, though, left-hand side. Bends it towards the far corner. Good save down to his right by Hermansen. Had to come to the rescue. Yellow card coming for Samare here because of his challenge. He had a little nibble at Palmer, and then he wired into João Felix, and that's another yellow card. Palmer's going absolutely mad.
Yeah, I think the Leicester players are now starting to get a little bit of frustration. I mean, it's a wild challenge from Samari. I mean, he leaves the ground, he catches the bottom of João Felix's foot. It's a really, really wild challenge. I mean, you'll see it here. He comes in, woof, nowhere near the ball again.
Crikey.
I think it's just frustration now for the Leicester players, because in this kind of attacking third, they can get nowhere near Chelsea at the minute. Chelsea are too bright, too quick, too inventive.
Chelsea have been too good, Leicester have been bad. We played 29 minutes, it's Leicester 0, Chelsea 1, and Chelsea have a corner over on the far side. Andy Madley, who's only refereed a handful of games so far this season, is having a word with the Leicester players and saying, look, you got to watch yourself because someone's going to get sent off here. Ball over on the far side, Palmer to deliver, in towards the near post, and he's straight hitting the post, I think. There might have been a situation where that came out and went back in again. But I think he just tried to catch out Hermansen at the near post and almost did.
I think they tried to work on that. I mean, if it works, it's clever, because Noni Madueke, I think it's Nicholas Jackson, they both make that run to the near post. And he tries to almost fizz it across the byline, and he ends up hitting the post. I think it went out first, hits the post to go up, but that's a little bit different. They've tried a couple where they've tried to whip it to the back post. That hasn't worked. But if that had come off, yeah, I think two players there might have had a tap in.
Well, it is Leicester 0, Chelsea 1. Enzo Maresca was not a popular figure after leaving here. It was felt that he jumped ship at the first opportunity. I think there was a bit of more angst because they'd asked to cancel pre-season in America with Leicester and then went on a US trip with Chelsea just shortly afterwards. Steve Cooper parachuted in at a time when it looked like the points deductions were looming for Leicester City, so that made recruitment a little bit difficult. Now, although they got away with the points deduction, they haven't managed to get maybe the sort of required level of quality into the club, and that has made things tricky, and trying to set this team up has been hard for them. They've suffered injuries coming into this game as well, but this is not a good performance, and they've picked up another yellow card because Enzo Fernandez has just tried to escape down this right-hand side. Skipper's gone diving in, and he's now been booked.
Jamie Vardy's got to get hold of some of these players and say, listen, use your brains, use your heads, because at the minute they're flying into challenges. You've got Ndidi's on the booking, Samari's on the booking, now Skip's on the booking. All three centre midfield players are all booked. They're flying into challenges, lunging in. I mean, Vardy needs to tell them, he's the one with the experience. He needs to say to them, listen, calm down, because it's hard enough with 11 men. If we go down to 10, we've got no chance.
Palmer, edge of the box, finds Cucurella inside the area, left-hand side, sets up Madueke 2-0. Well, the offside flag is up here, and I wonder if that's because...
Da novembre, goditi i nostri 6 voli settimanali. Rotte da Milano diretti a San Paolo.
Reacting to Madueke putting the ball into the net. They're just waiting to see. I think it might have been Cucurella, actually, who went a little bit early down this left-hand side. Yeah, he's just narrowly offside as the ball is played forward by Palmer. But they are just checking it with VAR, because if he isn't, and it is close, then that would be a second goal for Chelsea. It has gone to Paul Tierney back in the VAR booth, but I think by what the pictures that we can see, he looks offside.
It looks like he's just leaning ahead of James Justin there, Mark Cucurella. But even with Nicholas Jackson coming involved, because when Noni Madueke finishes it, he's that side,
he is
next to the goalkeeper.
I'm not sure that will influence the goalkeeper's thinking. I think the ball was going into the corner of the net anyway, and he couldn't get there. But that will be another thing that they look at. But this is the first one. Cucurella, is he in an offside position? I think it's pretty clear that he is. And eventually we get confirmation of the disallowed goal.
Well worked though from Chelsea again. Cucurella's been their outlet down that left-hand side, and it's a really intelligent run from Noni Madueke. He doesn't stay at the back post. He kind of cuts across where the penalty spot is, and it's a really tidy finish. But again, just going slightly early, Mark Cucurella.
You're listening to Talk Sport and the Talk Network. Leicester 0, Chelsea 1, but it should probably be more with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Another foul over on the far side on João Felix, and it's going to be a throw-in just short of the halfway line.
They've got to try and find a way of getting Vardy in this game, because I'm looking at his touches. It says he's had 4 touches. I can't remember the 4.
Maybe it was when he was defending the corner.
Oh yeah, maybe 1, 2, yeah. But in terms of where you want to see Jamie Vardy in that final third, causing problems, they're almost not giving him the service he needs. I mean, he's 37 years old. He's not as fit as he once was. Yes, he's still razor sharp, but you've got to give him some kind of service where you're getting him into areas where he can really affect the game. Because at the minute, you're kicking the ball anywhere and expecting Vardy to pick up the pieces.
Shrewsbury taking the lead against Birmingham by a goal to 0. Blackpool lead away at Bolton by a goal to 0. Cardiff 1-0 up away at Sheffield Wednesday. Cardiff still without manager. Omar Rita has been in charge since the 28th of September. And they're still no closer to deciding if he's going to get the job full time or not. He probably should. He's done a pretty good job. Here is Caicedo looking for Palmer. He wraps that into him, and it's a little bit too long. Cacarella tries to win it before indeed he spreads it towards the right-hand side. McAteer got it, then checked backwards, and again there's a reluctance to go into the Chelsea half of the field. I mean, it's almost as if there's sort of like some sort of invisible force field which is stopping Leicester from progressing into the Chelsea half. They've hardly been in it. Here is Samare, out to the left. Bilal El Khanous, skipping in field. Oh, giving the ball away. Fernandez has got it back again. Now Caicedo has it. I've been here on a Monday night actually to watch them play Tottenham when they were this bad in the first half, Leicester, and could have been 3 or 4 down but weren't, and then came back in the second half, much better performance, and ended up drawing the game 1-1. Chelsea should take a lesson from that and make sure they put themselves a bit of daylight between them and Leicester on the scoreboard before half-time, I think.
Yeah, but they've been so dominant, Chelsea. I mean, they've had opportunities. They've got themselves into some really good areas. I don't think they've really capitalised on the areas that they've got themselves into. I mean, Madueke had an opportunity there when Hermanson made a really good save. But then it's not testing the goalkeeper enough, because Leicester are almost allowing them to a point to kind of pass their way into certain areas. There's a lack of communication. There's no real fight or composure out of possession, but Chelsea have got to find a way of getting shots off at goal and really make this Leicester backline work.
There's a little bit about Chelsea, and I've seen this a few times as well, and I just saw that in evidence there as the ball was played forward by Caicedo into Jackson to Palmer, where they sort of try a little bit too much elaborate play, which stops them from decisively getting through and being ruthless and putting teams to bed. I've seen that a couple of times this season, and there's been a few examples of that in the last few minutes where there's been opportunities, they haven't made the most of them. Caicedo with a challenge on Samare. The free kick goes against Leicester. I mean, the Leicester fans are suggesting that that's an ironic decision. Believe me, there's nothing ironic about the referee's performance here. Very lucky not to be in a more tricky situation, Leicester, than they already are. It's currently Leicester 0, Chelsea 1. For the latest odds, you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Leicester to win the game at 22-1. Chelsea 17-2 on. The draw is 7-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Betfair's safer gambling tools are designed so you can bet at your best. Learn more at safergambling.betfair.com. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. The free kick goes into the box over everyone's head, and now to play for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
What a waste. I mean, you've worked so hard to get into that type of area, and you decide to put a cross into the box, and you kind of drift it to the back post, and it goes out for a goal kick. That sums up Leicester this first half. Lack of quality.
Chelsea have fed the ball up through the middle of the pitch from a goal kick. They were pretty scrappy in doing that. Leicester tried to turn it over and get it forward again, but there was no one there to get on the end of it, and it runs through to the orange shirt of Robert Sanchez, who's probably just delighted that he's seen the ball. Well, there's a little bit of fight here because Bilal El Khanous has robbed Fofana of the ball, and all of a sudden Leicester have got it, and this is what Chelsea have got to be careful of. They've been so bad for 36 minutes, Leicester City, that even just a little bit of injection of fight might cause Chelsea a little bit of grief. Here is João Felix, who's picked it up on halfway. They've got Madueke on this near side. It's a poor ball by João Felix. It was never going to reach his intended target. He then careers over towards this near side and dives in with a silly tackle, and Leicester managed to get it up towards the halfway line. Chelsea can't afford to lose their discipline now. Samare, skip, and now they've got 4 on 3, and there's blue shirts overloaded on the far side. McAteer into the box, left foot in far corner, so close to an equaliser. Well, there's a warning for Chelsea that for Leicester, who have been inept for 36 minutes, they do still carry a threat.
And that's the thing. I mean, Casey McAteer does really well, but that's where Leicester, if you could play through Chelsea's press, there's about 4 or 5 of them that are caught upfield, and it's really well worked, to be fair, from one of the skip. He almost waits, and Casey McAteer, I mean, it's the right option. He cuts inside off that right-hand side and tries to use his left foot and bend it into that far corner. But I thought El Canouse, he's been the one who wants the ball. He's been comfortable in possession. He's the one who's willing to draw 2-3 Chelsea players and just pop it off a little bit. And he did it there, and that's how Leicester got out. And Leicester have got to look at that and take confidence from that. If they can beat Chelsea's press, they can get at Chelsea's backline.
They've come from behind before. I'll cite you the example of Southampton away from home, where they looked as if they were out of that game, and then they came back and ended up winning it. And that was the sort of moment, that cultural moment where, Steve Cooper inherited a team that were honed to play in a certain way, the way that Enzo Maresca demanded. But what they needed was a few tweaks for the Premier League, which he's tried to implement. They needed a couple of moments that sort of lifted them and joined them as a group. They got that at Southampton. I mean, if they were to get something out of this game, having played so badly and passively in the first 35 minutes, then that would be another big spark, I think. And they've put pressure on Chelsea here, and they've won a corner. Chelsea trying to play out from the back. Poor play by Robert Sanchez, giving the ball to Caicedo, who's mouthed off to the referee, got himself a yellow card, and now Chelsea are on the back foot.
Well, do you know what? Leicester have just stepped up 5 yards and gone, do you know what? We're not going to be passive and let Chelsea just play out from the back, and we're going to drop it to our own box. Vardy's gone, Wilfred Ndidi's gone, Casey McAteer's gone as well. They've all just stepped on Chelsea and put them under pressure, and all of a sudden now they're winning throw-ins in the final third. They're winning goal kicks in the final third. They're getting shots at goal. This is what they should have done from minute 1.
And this is why Chelsea will rue the fact that they haven't put the accelerator down. Corner into the near post, punched away by Robert Sanchez, who can have his problems. He's another one that can give chances to the opposition, so Chelsea have to be careful here. Skip back to halfway. Samare, Leicester just with a little bit more about them as the first half comes to a close. Ndidi looks as if he was in an offside position, but the assistant on the far side has taken his time before flagging. Eventually he has given the free kick, and it's a free kick in the left full-back position. Leicester 0, Chelsea 1, Talk Sport and the Talk Network. In the Championship, Coventry 1, Sheffield United 2. Over on Talk Sport 2, Coventry, who did equalise but have found themselves back behind again. Shrewsbury 2, Birmingham 0 is the latest scoreline from League 1. Cardiff 1-0 up away at Sheffield Wednesday. Elsewhere, Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 0. Blackpool are leading Bolton away from home by a goal to 0. Grimsby 0. Colchester 0, Notts County 0, Newport 0, the latest scorelines from League 2. Burnley still 1 up against Bristol City. Burnley, a really good record this season defensively. The best the best defence in the EFL. They conceded just 6 goals, so when they get ahead, they usually win. Here is Bilal El Canouse at the end of the first half for Leicester, looking for an equaliser, running through the middle of the pitch and sending it on to Vardy, who finds Christensen down by the byline. Low cross towards the back post. Here's Ndidi. Oh, what a chance! He scuffed it. Arriving late in the box and capitalising on a bit of good play, enterprising play from Leicester City, led by El Canouse, into Vardy, out wide to the left-hand side. Christensen gets to the byline, pulls the ball through the 6-yard box, out the other side. Ndidi arriving about 5 yards inside the area. He's got to hit the target, Darren Bent, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I mean, it's great play from Leicester, but for me, he goes with the wrong technique. He tries to go with the outside of his right foot, rather than stepping onto it and using the inside of his left foot and just kind of guiding it back where he comes from. He goes for the most difficult one, outside of the boot, on his right foot, while it's bouncing as well. But again, Leicester, El Canouse, who I've been impressed with in the first half, he's got on the ball, combined really well with Vardy there, and then they had an opportunity, and that's what Leicester need to do. Just step, really get into Chelsea's faces, cause them problems, and win the ball back high up.
Well, I think Chelsea have been rattled by the physicality of Leicester City. They've got a little bit complacent because it was too easy for 35 minutes, and now they're in a situation where they've just come off the boil a little bit as Leicester have come to the fore. Cucurella has given away a foul on this near side. A free kick right at the end of the first half, and Leicester City, who were making life very easy for Chelsea early on in the game, all of a sudden are making them feel a little bit uncomfortable. 2 minutes to go before the break. 6 blue shirts to aim at in the box. And El Canoes standing over the free kick, so is Christensen. The Moroccan surely is the favourite here. He's been their most creative player. A right-footed ball hits the first man and comes out to the edge of the penalty area. And Chelsea now on the hunt with a fast break. And Jackson is speeding away over halfway. He's got Madueke joining at the far post. Jackson delivers it towards Madueke, who has an empty net to tap it into. And Manson came flying out and he couldn't get the finish right.
I don't know why he doesn't head it. I mean, it's great play from Jackson, and that's where Leicester need to be careful of the counter-attack, because it comes from their free kick. El Canoes, who's been very good this first half, poor free kick, and then the ball from João Felix sets Jackson away, and he takes one big touch out of his feet, and it's like, can you see Noni Madueke? He puts it into a great area where the goalkeeper can't get it, just come onto it and head it. If he comes onto it and heads it, he heads it in the empty net, 2-0 Chelsea, just before half-time. Again, he goes for the more difficult skill, volley on his weaker foot, when it's at an awkward height. If he steps onto it and heads it, it's 2-0 Chelsea.
Well, what a chance that was for 2-0 to Chelsea. It's a poor free kick by El Canoes, and that sort of set up the Chelsea break, and they broke at real pace. Madueke and Jackson lightning quick, getting over the halfway line, and then that chance for Jackson to get the ball into that far post. And Madueke, who has been okay with his head actually, just didn't decide to go that way, and as a result, the chance went a-begging, and that's been an issue for Chelsea, because they should be further ahead than they are. Fofana getting into a tight spot in the right full-back position, gets it back across the face of goal to Colwell. Chelsea have the ball with 15 seconds to go at the end of the first 45 minutes. But Leicester have won it back again, and McAteer over on the far side just seems to be finding his feet. That's poor from Skip. And Madueke wants it played forward quickly. They didn't do so. They went down the left instead. They couldn't find João Felix. There will be 4 minutes at the end of the first half to add on. Given away by Ndidi. Fernandes picks it up. Fernandes again towards the far side. João Felix again. Chelsea slow proceedings. Cucurella on to Enzo Fernandez. And then he lends it back out to Caicedo. Gets it back again. Gives it to Badiashile. And the ball keeps moving for Chelsea, who lead by a goal to nil. A lead given to them after 15 minutes, and a lead that should have been extended.
Yeah, it should have been. I mean, a great breakaway again with the chance with Noni Madueke just to head it. If he heads it, he heads it in the empty net, he scores it 2-0. But Leicester certainly in the last 10-15 minutes have been so much better. And that comes from them putting Chelsea under pressure, not letting Chelsea do what they want, dictate the tempo of the game, and almost walking football at point at times. They've stepped onto them, they've won their challenges, and they've made them defend.
The ball down the left channel looking for Vardy, defended well by Badiashile. Cleared by Sanchez, headed down by Skip, but only as far as Caicedo. Now a bit of space here in behind Samare for Cole Palmer. He charges towards the edge of the area, feeds it to Cucurella. His low ball hits the defender, comes back again. Palmer tries to centre the ball. Justin gets across, it spills out of play, and it goes out for a corner right at the end of the first half for Chelsea.
Don't think they've done enough down that left-hand side, Chelsea, because Cucurella's got in about 5 or 6 times this first half, and he shows the wrong option more than not. I mean, there's times where he tries to flash it across when he should cut it back. There's times where he should flash it across, and he does the exact opposite. I mean, they've got in so many times and quite comfortably down that left-hand side for Chelsea. They should have created more with that.
Well, Chelsea trying to cultivate a set piece with Enzo Fernandez going across the take. He's taken his time, by the way, Enzo Fernandez, to go and take this set piece over on the far side to the right. Fofana has come up from the back. How he would love to score against his former team. Jackson being pushed around, so is Colwell inside the penalty area. There's a bunch of Chelsea players on the penalty spot which will look to burst as this ball comes in. Right-footed, the deep one towards the far post. There was pushing and shoving inside the penalty area. The referee is blown his whistle. He is consulting with the VAR. There's a bit of holding going on. Are they going to reset and take the corner again here?
It looks like there's a lot of commotion going on there. It looks like it's Samari and Colwell. Both of them are just holding each other and not letting them go. I mean, he goes down very easily there, Colwell, but you run that risk. If you're going to try and wrap your arms around somebody and grapple and pull them, you're going to get punished.
Corner kick to be taken by Enzo Fernandez. They'll try again. There's still a lot of pushing and shoving going on inside the penalty area here. And they've got to be a little bit careful, Leicester. Corner comes in, Fernandes right under the goalkeeper, and Fofana rises and glances the ball narrowly wide, but I think there was a whistle already blown for a foul inside the box. That was close.
It was close. I think it was Badiashile that gets up and he's the one who gets his head to it, but I mean, the referee was always going to do that. How many times do you see a bit of commotion and then the very next corner that comes in, the ref blows his whistle and gives a foul? But again, Chelsea with their cool set plays, I don't think the deliveries, that one was decent from Enzo Fernandez, but I don't think their deliveries into the box, because how many corners have they had this first half? It must be 5-6 corners. I just don't think they've made enough of it.
Well, they haven't made enough of the whole thing, really, have they? I mean, they've basically allowed Leicester to creep back into the game, and that was a big opportunity. But Leicester got away with it. Ball cleared away by Enzo Fernandez as the ball's cleared upfield by Hermansen, and then Leicester trying to play the last bit of football we've got in this first half, and inside Leicester territory. Goes out of play and away for a throw into Cucurella. Cucurella arguing over on the far side, doesn't want to get himself into trouble, and Chelsea have possession just short of the halfway line. Live on TalkSport, the Talk Network, from a grisly, grotty day at the King Power Stadium in the East Midlands, Leicester. And the first half comes to a close. There'll be a debate at half-time as why Chelsea didn't go on and kick on and extend their lead, why Leicester City has still got 11 men on the pitch. But Chelsea have won just one of their last 7 Premier League games after an international break, and that was a real struggle at Bournemouth. This shouldn't have been, not at all. They were strolling for 35 minutes, but Leicester City crept into it right at the end of the first half. It's just one goal that separates Enzo Maresca's current charges and his former team at half-time. A goal scored by Nicholas Jackson. Leicester 0, Chelsea 1.
Sam, thank you very much. Yeah, just one goal in it for the 70% possession that Chelsea finished that first half with. But it was one-way traffic for so much of that game, wasn't it? Leicester City really lacking any discipline, lacking any ideas, any creativity at all. But there'll be some nervy Chelsea fans after that first half. There is something creeping back in from this Leicester City side. They are finding their way back in. I don't know if it will result in goals. They're going to try and find a way to do that. But for now, it is, as Sam said, Chelsea are leading this one. It's Leicester City 0, Chelsea 1. Interestingly, look, they are slow starters, Leicester, Darren Ben. They've now conceded first in 10 of their 12 Premier League matches. That's not a good look.
No, it's not. And to be fair, they're a little bit fortunate because they came out of the blocks really, really slow in this game. And Chelsea almost resorted to walking football at times with the possession, just moving it from left to right, almost kind of goading Leicester to come out and go and press. And the moment they did, they just pop it round them. And that's because Leicester were trying to press in their ones and their twos. But to be fair, Leicester, if you're Steve Cooper going in at half-time, you're positive because you're going, we're only 1-0 down. And that last 10 minutes, they caused Chelsea some real problems. Had the Walford and Ndidi chance as well, so as bad as they were for the first half an hour, they're still in with a shout in this game. And if you're Enzo Maresca, you're thinking, well, there was an opportunity there in that first 30 minutes to really put the game to bed because Leicester had gone. But the fact it remains 1-0 still at half-time, that's going to give Leicester a lot of confidence and the supporters in the stadium.
Yeah, absolutely, because they needed it, isn't it? Because you could really feel the jitters amongst the Leicester fans at one point, especially, as you say, in that opening half an hour as well. Nicholas Jackson, of course, with the goal. Do you know he's the most prolific away goal scorer in the Premier League at the moment? 5 goals away from home, 2 assists. That's the most goal involvements as well, 7 for him. So he's certainly on fire at the moment. But how long will that last? Particularly with, you mentioned Wilfred Ndidi, that challenge on Cole Palmer. Came in from behind. VAR looked at the tackle. They went with the referee's call, essentially, and it was, I mean, their justification is that it was from a short distance. He didn't lunge in. The tackle wasn't high intensity, so it wasn't deemed a clear and obvious error. For me, there's a clear and obvious error in that phrase itself, because there's a grey area there, because that could have been a really dangerous tackle on Cole Palmer.
Well, that's one of those tackles, and I've been there as a player, where you're a little bit frustrated, you can't get near the ball, you're chasing shadows, you can't press anyone, you can't keep possession of the ball, and you're getting so frustrated that you think, do you know what, I'll leave something on someone here, because Cole Palmer is in possession of the ball, he's comfortable with it, he's been popping it around, and then it's one of those where the ball goes and you just go, do you know what, this is a free hit, and he just rakes his foot right back down the Achilles of Cole Palmer. And you're right, that could have been so much more severe. The fact Cole Palmer got up, you go, okay, fair enough, but Yes, for me, it's borderline red, but it's a challenge you don't want to see, because me being an ex-player, I know exactly what's going through Wilfred Ndidi's head there. He's just thinking to himself, I can't get near anyone, I'm just going to kick someone.
Yeah, that's all he's going to do.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that is basically it. Look, Harry Winks went off really early. Former Spurs product and replaced by another Spurs product in Oliver Skipp. How do you think that changed the dynamic of that first half, especially in those opening exchanges when they were still finding their feet?
Well, I mean, it didn't help, because I thought Harry Winks for the first 10 minutes actually done quite well, because he picked up possession, won a couple of second balls, and then he didn't just clear it anywhere. He tried to take that extra touch and try and find a pass rather than just clear it anywhere. So Oliver Skipp's come on. It took him a while to kind of get up to speed, but it must be incredibly difficult coming on in a game like this where Chelsea have been so dominant in possession. It almost took that little fracas at the end, where the last 15 minutes where Chelsea kind of let Leicester back into it, for Oliver Skipp to kind of go, well, do you know what? Rather than when we lose possession of the ball, run backwards, we're going to step forward and really get in the faces of Chelsea. And if you give good players time, they will make you look so ordinary. If you step into their faces and try and make them take the ball in possession and under duress, that's when we'll see how good they actually are. But last 15 minutes, Chelsea all of a sudden will start to give the ball away. We saw Cole Palmer get the ball in an area where he probably shouldn't have done. He gives the ball away.
Yeah.
You can unnerve these top players. So Leicester have got to take that last 15 minutes into the first 15 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, indeed. And we've seen them do it before as well, as Sam mentioned, against Tottenham Hotspur in that opening game. They can bring something here, and they're at home. They've got that advantage. It'll be really fascinating to see how this second half will pan out. That one is up next. Make sure you don't go anywhere.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Black Friday deals are now on at Screwfix. Get huge discounts on a wide range of products. Save £60 on the DeWalt 18-volt brushless impact driver bare unit, now only $49.99. And Sight Quartz safety boots now half price at only $19.99. Also save £30 on the Turbo Gold Trade Pack, now only $19.99. For more Screwfix Black Friday deals, shop on the app, online and in-store. Don't miss out. Deals end 2nd of December. Subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
$1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery, subject to availability.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
At Betfair, we're about finding different ways to play. Like with our 90-minute guarantee. We've all been there. The clock ticks over into 90 minutes, and then a speculative cross into the box ricochets off a knee and goes in, ruining your bet. But with Betfair's 90-minute guarantee, if your bet is winning at 90 minutes or full time, we pay out. Betfair. Play different.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract on now. Like Man City versus Tottenham, live today. 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
100% total football, each and every weekend.
Oh, and he's found the net!
Game day.
Brilliant strike! Live football coverage that's beyond compare.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport.
Hello, you are listening to Game Day Exclusive. I'm Rashmin Chowdhury. We are here at the King Power, where it's Leicester City 0, Chelsea 1. Let's get a check of the other results, or half-time latest, I should say, over the EFL on TalkSport 2. We've got a live commentary of Coventry City against Sheffield United in the Championship, where it's currently Coventry City 1, Sheffield United 2. However, the Blades captain, Anel Ahmed Hodzic, has been sent off for the away side. They are still ahead, though. Elsewhere, Bristol City 0, Burnley 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff City 1. In League One, it's Bolton 0, Blackpool 1, Shrewsbury 2, Birmingham City 1, and Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 0. And in League 2, Grimsby Town 0 and Colchester 0, and it's currently Notts County 0, Newport County 0. So that is your check on the half-time results. Right now, though, we're going to get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a completely free ACCA or Bet Builder on football this weekend. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Alex, boys, you're still over at Haydock for us. How's it looking there?
It's a lot wetter than even when I first joined at 12 o'clock, actually. The rain has not stopped coming down, so Storm Bert is fully upon us.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Bert has a lot to answer for, hasn't he? Let's take a look at this game then, here at the King Power. Chelsea, of course, a goal to the good, but there should be nerves around those Chelsea fans, because Leicester really proving just that they still are a danger, even though that first half they were relatively anonymous, but they did come back and could still come back in that second half as well. What does that do to the odds?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think Enzo Maresca will be gutted, to be honest, at the 1-0 scoreline, because the game is very much alive, of course. Chelsea at one point had 84% possession. Yeah. They were almost on for a record before Leicester finally got themselves into the game. Look, if you fancy a Leicester comeback, they're as big as 22 to 1 on the Betfair Sportsbook. The draw is 6 to 1, whilst Chelsea as short as 1 to 8 to go out and take all 3 points. Looking at some of the player markets, Freshman, I mean, look, we have to talk about Wilfred Ndidi, don't we? Because should he be on the pitch? Well, I kind of listened to what Darren Bent's saying there, and he knows what he's doing. I think it would have been an easy decision for VAR to make that a red card for me. But how often do you see that player come and then write his own lines a little bit later on? And Ndidi, by the way, really interestingly, he's had the most touches in the opposition's box and the most chances created by any Leicester player this season. He's had played a little bit more further forward this season, so he's 100 to 30 for a shot on target. He's 13 to 1 to score in the second half. You can see the headlines now, guys. Yeah, you can see Enzo Maresca's face if Wilfred Ndidi wheels away. And just quickly on the bet builders, one that I like for the second half, you can back Wout Fez to commit a foul. He got turned around for that goal, didn't he? Oh, he will not be happy with that. Yeah. Nicholas Jackson had his number there. If you roll that into a bet builder with Cole Palmer to have a shot on target, because he hasn't had one yet, and over 2.5 away cards. Chelsea have had the 1 card with Moises Caicedo, and they lead the Premier League with most cards this season. That comes out about 8 to 1 on the Betfair Sportsbook.
Right, and what about our charity bet? How's that looking at the moment? We're looking at what was the Chelsea win. I've forgotten the other variables, though.
Yeah, you know what? It's in a good place, I have to say, because we need Chelsea to win in the match odds 90 market. There was, of course, 1-0 up. We need Cucurella to commit 2 fouls. That's already in, Reshmin. Tick that one off the list.
Okay, we can tick that one, yeah.
And then all we need in the second half is 1 more Cole Palmer shot. Doesn't have to be on target, just a shot. And Chelsea to win the game, and we'll have a winner. So you've got to cash out now at just over £100, which is doubling your money. But we've got £191 on the line for the Bobby Moore Foundation if Chelsea win the second half and Cole Palmer has another shot.
Sam is shaking his head. Go on, Sam.
No chance. Roll it over. The only thing that worries me, actually, is that they take Cole Palmer off because he was injured. But I think he'll be okay. I'm going to keep it going.
Keep it going. All right. Thank you very much, Alex. I hope it doesn't get even worse for you over at Haydock. At least try and stay warm, at least. Thank you very much, as always. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Get a completely free ACCA or bet builder on football this weekend. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Coming up after our live coverage here at the King Power, where it's Leicester City 0, Chelsea 1, we'll be switching over to Adrian Durham for all the goals as they go in for Game Day Live. Adrian, you are based at the Vitality today for Bournemouth against Brighton, but of course we have live coverage of Villa against Palace as well. A busy, busy afternoon of action, especially as we return from the international break.
You know what? We've got some great 3 o'clock kickoffs. Bournemouth Brighton I'm really looking forward to. They're two good footballing sides. Everybody's saying it won't be a 0-0 draw. And we've got the jeopardy of the weather as well. So really looking forward to this one. Glad to be here for this one. We've got 4th against 5th. Arsenal against Forest is at 3 o'clock as well. Troy Deeney's at that one for us. Villa Palace we're at as well, as you say. It's live on TalkSport too. Everton Brentford, who've lost all 5 away from home. And Fulham Wolves as well. Fulham can play some great stuff. Wolves off the back of their first win of the season before the international break. So we're around the grounds, all the goals as they go in, but Scotland outside of the Scottish Premiership's decided to give up pretty much, so that's because of the weather. But yeah, no, it's going to be a fantastic day.
It is going to be a fantastic day. I just want to ask you a quick one about Villa against Palace. I mean, how are Villa going to arrest the slide? They go back to Champions League football, but they are winless over, is it 5 games now going into this?
Yeah,
and yeah, it's not a position that Unai Emery is familiar with.
Well, they're doing a Man City. They've lost their last 4.
Yeah.
So
they're 4, yes, of course.
Well, no, but it's 5. You're right, without a win. But 4, they've lost in all competitions. They got Juventus coming up this Wednesday live on TalkSport too. That's at home as well. I know. So it's a massive week for them. Palace have already gone there in the League Cup and won. So I just find this a really fascinating game, to be honest. And you're right. Aston Villa needs to start to get going. Ollie Watkins hasn't scored in 5 all competitions. 1 in 8. All competitions for him, so he needs to restart his season, as it were. So I make that another massive game as well. The Arsenal Forest one, both on 19 points. Arsenal with all these injury problems. Imagine if Forest go there and win. I think it'll be for the first time since the 80s. Stuart Pearce was not only playing, but he scored the last time Nottingham Forest won at half.
I did not know that.
Yeah, brilliant free kick, yeah.
I tell you what, stories, subplots all over the place.
And by the way, absolutely,
me.
and Dede's got to be sent off for that, because at the start of the season they were saying to us, the referees were saying to us, listen, it's the main priority is the safety of the players, but we're going to have a bit more leeway when it comes to physical challenges. Well, that endangered the safety of Cole Palmer. I'm sorry, he had to go. Had to go. There's no fluffing around with this, no beating about the bush, no sitting on the fence. He had to go.
I agree with you. Darren Bent agreed with you, and so did Sam Matterface. Adrian Durham, thank you very much. Adrian, of course, here for Game Day Live. Great to talk to you as always. Just a little note here, because there has been a slight delay to the restart. Linesman Mark Scholes is injured. He and the 4th official Lee are swapping roles. Lee Doughty. So they're swapping positions, but the players are now out and pretty much ready to kick off this second half. So I'm going to hand you back to Darren and Sam.
Yes, Lee Doughty running the line over on the far side, the 4th official, and a change because of an injury to Mark Scholes. Nick Hopton still doing his job, but Lee Doughty on this near touch line now, down in front of us, getting ready to run the line in the Premier League. Not something that he is used to doing, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. We're underway at the start of the second half. It's Leicester 0, Chelsea 1 live on TalkSport and the Talk Network, and Chelsea have enjoyed their recent trips here. Just 1 defeat in the last 7 visits to the King Power Stadium. Their most important meeting, though, between these two went the way of Leicester City. That was the 2021 FA Cup final, when Leicester won thanks to a sublime goal from Yuri Tielemans. And Chelsea, who started this game in brilliant form and took it to Leicester City, should have been further ahead before Leicester crept back into the game right at the end. The last 10 minutes would have given Steve Cooper encouragement. Darren Bent.
Yeah, it would have done, and that's exactly the way they've started Leicester the second half. They've got in Chelsea's faces, they've made the main mistakes, and now they're playing in Chelsea's half, and that's the exact same way they finished their first half. So they've got to keep it up. I think El Khanous was brilliant first half. I think he was the guy that tried to take the ball, tried to take responsibility.
No changes for either team at the start of the second half, just that change on the near touchline with the new linesman, the assistant referee. And it's Bilal El Khanous who has the ball over on the far side. It gets it off Madueke, goes out of play and away for a throw, and then gives it back as it comes back in. Madueke combines with Christensen. They collide, actually, and the ball ricochets into the path of Christensen once again. Skip trying to get in behind. He approaches Caicedo, thrashes the ball in his chest, and it goes out towards the far side. 10 of Chelsea's 19 points this season have come on the road in the Premier League. And interestingly, Adrian was talking about Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, where later on will be Troy Deeney and Alex Crook will be giving you updates on that game. The fact that there's so many teams in that area of the table all sandwiched on 19 points is very, very tight, and Chelsea want to put a marker on the board ahead of those 3 o'clock kickoffs, but they've got to up the ante again because the momentum has just shifted in the match. Leicester have it on halfway, fast to Akoli, Christensen round the corner, and then it's picked up by Samare, who charges forward, looks to try and turn and play the ball out to James Justin, who feeds it onto McAteer on the near touchline. Ndidi, whose participation in the match was called into question after a terrible tackle on Cole Palmer in the first half, and it's out and away for a throw-in on this near side.
Well, it certainly looks like Wilfred Ndidi's gone a little bit higher. I know he was almost like that 10 anyway, but I think they had to do something to get some bodies around Jamie Vardy because he was so isolated that first half. But it looks like Wilfred Ndidi just stepped up 5 yards and is not long. I wouldn't say playing alongside him, but it's in and around Jamie Vardy as well. So if the pieces are there, he'll pick them up and then they can start again. And I think they had to do that because the ball was coming back far too frequent for Leicester's liking.
Yeah, he had a good chance in that first half as well, did Wilfred Ndidi. It's 1-0 to Chelsea. The ball's deep in the Leicester half with Hermansen on the edge of his own penalty area, stops it, clips it out towards the far side. Played every minute in the Premier League this season, the Dane. It's guided back into the path of Caleb Akoli, who, with his hair tied back in a bun behind his head and bright orange boots, strokes it forward to Samare, gets it back again, Caleb Akoli, called up into the Italian squad for the first time this season. The new Leicester acquisition. He clips it forward up towards halfway. El Khanous is pushed in the back by Fofana, but he glides the ball out of play, and it's a throw into Chelsea on halfway. Leicester have won just 2 of their last 11 league matches. Only once at this stage of a season has it been worse than that. That was 23 years ago. And they do need to defensively sharpen up, you feel. They keep giving teams the leads. They've kept just 1 clean sheet all season. But attack is a problem too, because although they've scored in almost every game, Darren, they've had the second fewest shots in the Premier League this season, second only to...
Fewest shots in the Premier League? Ipswich.
Correct.
Why would you say that? Why are you giving me that question? You don't want to hear that. I don't hear that.
Still getting it over the fact that you cheered earlier a replay of a goal that Ipswich scored at Tottenham. Here is Felix into Enzo Fernandez on halfway, touched by Caicedo. Going down the Portman Road for the first time this season tomorrow. Here is Palmer from Fofana as they move up the pitch, Chelsea, towards the right angle of the penalty area. Madueke's got the beating of Christensen and the beating of himself because he's pushed it too far in front of him, and it's gone out of play, dribbled out of play for a goal kick away to our left. 5 minutes in the second half gone.
Don't mind that from Noni Madueke. We know he's left-footed predominantly, but trying to go down the outside as well, just to mix it up a little bit. Some wide players, a little bit predictable. When they're so heavily reliant on 1 foot, they always want to cut inside. But there, he tries to take him down to the byline and just runs out of room. But that was the right decision, right thing to do.
I agree with that, and I noticed that during the game against Greece in Athens that I was at a couple of days ago, in fact a week and a bit ago, when he had so much variation that Kostas Tsimikas didn't know which way he was going to go every time he got the ball, and it just put doubt in his mind, and he had a terrific game, Madueke, that night. Here's Ndidi down the right side, trying to get the better of Badiashile, who throws himself in front of the ball, wins a free kick. Well, I don't know how, but, you know, he just got his body in between the ball and the man and then went to the ground. Free kick given.
Good run from Wilfred Ndidi though. That's what he's going to have to do, just to unsettle this Chelsea backline. I mean, it's very
little. There's a little bit of a push in there.
Very little, but in those scenarios there, I always think if you're the attacker, and I used to do it all the time, and I used to frustrate myself, is that you know exactly what the defender's going to do in that scenario. The moment you put your hands on his back, he's going to go over and you're going to win a free kick. But Leicester have started so much better than they did in that first half.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Bolton lost their last game at Stockport 5-0. They've just equalised against Blackpool, who were without a win in 7 league matches in League One. It's 1-1 there. Shrewsbury 2-1 up against Birmingham. And it looks like they're about to go 3-1 up. Here on the right side, the ball is with Madueke. Chelsea with a big chance now. Christensen trying to hold him up. He sets it back for Cole Palmer. Left-footed ball towards the far post. João Felix is there. And he didn't take it first time. He chopped back in right-footed. That was enough to give James Justin a sight of the ball, and he blocks it out and he clears it away. It is Shrewsbury 3, Birmingham City 1 in League One. Here is Fofana. Palmer, edge of the penalty area, trying to get into the box. He wriggles away from El Khanous. He holds onto the ball delicately and then twists and turns and fires it in towards Jackson, who can't control it. Pops out to skip edge of the D. He hammers it clear up towards Vardy, but Chelsea win it back again.
I mean, again, that ball there from Oliver Skip, it's got to be better than that into Vardy. Like, you've got to give him something that he can get hold of and then get you lot up the pitch. When you fire it at him, he's got Levi Corwa behind him. He's not going to hold it up.
Enzo Fernandez has broken the lines and got to the bar line. He's produced a cross which is headed into the air by Caleb Okoli, and it's out for a Chelsea corner over on the far side. Chelsea, again, just pushing and probing and trying to get themselves further ahead in the match, which they lead thanks to a goal from Nicholas Jackson, scored inside the first 15 minutes live on Talk Sport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that you can stream all the action with now, like the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract. Manchester City versus Tottenham later today. Search Now Sports. Back here, the corner comes in from Palmer, in towards the near post, and it's headed away by Oliver Skip. Another curling delivery with his left foot that went straight in at that near post and caused a bit of chaos.
That was a free kick in when he put it into an area. So much pace, so much width, and it's good defending in the end, because if anyone gets a little glance on that, it probably ends up in the back of the net and it's 2-0.
I'm trying to work out if that counts as a shot for our charity bet. Here is João Felix out to Colwell. Back to João Felix again, all the way to halfway, and there is Caicedo, and Chelsea keeping possession patiently and calmly on the midpoint of their own half with Badiashile. Leicester, who have a busy period, but not as busy as Chelsea in December. Everyone has a busy period in December. Brentford away next, West Ham at home, Brighton at home next. There's Newcastle away and Wolves at home to come before the Christmas period, where they play Liverpool and Manchester City in quick succession, so they will need some more points on the board, you feel. But Chelsea are cutting them open here. Fernandez has sent Felix away. Madueke is at the far post. It's Jackson towards the far corner. Madueke, here's Palmer. His shot is blocked, I think, by his own player. Well, Cole Palmer was coming in at the far post, so was Madueke, and Madueke got in the way of Palmer and blocked Palmer's effort on goal, which would have made it 2-0.
I mean, it's a great save from Hermanson, and they work it again really well. I mean, it's a lovely little ball from Enzo Fernandez, and that sets João Felix away. And I thought we'd run out of room, but he just at the last minute gets a toe to Nicholas Jackson, and it's a great save from Hermanson. And to be fair to Noni Madueke, he tries to jump and get out of the way, because Cole Palmer's thinking, right, here comes another goal, and he's about to tap it in the empty net from 2 yards out. And Noni Madueke, he jumps, but Cole Palmer still manages to hit him, and it's just unfortunate. He's tried to get out of the way, but he's ended up hitting him.
I have to say, it was a terrific Chelsea move. They cut Leicester open so easily, and as a result, Enzo Maresca is just running his hands through the very little stubble of hair that he's got on his head, thinking that that should have been 2-0. Right, let's go off to some of our games that kick off at 3 o'clock and get the latest team news and start off at the Vitality Stadium. Talk Sports, Ian Abrahams.
Bournemouth made one change from the side last time out. Ryan Christie's banned. Marcus Tavernier comes in for him. 2 changes for the Brighton team that beat Man City. Hinchell was injured, and João Pedro and Baliba come in for him, and Simon Adingra.
To Craven Cottage, Fulham Wolves, Ollie Klink.
No Craig Dawson or Santi Bueno for Wolves. They come out along with Sarabia. In come Rodrigo Gomez, Andre and Bellegarde. Just one change for Fulham. Sasa Lukic comes in for Sander Berger.
Back here, it's Chelsea who lead by a goal to 0, and they're on the attack again. Madueke over on the far touchline by the halfway line. He's just pressed by El Khanous, and Fofana turns it back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Jamie Vardy. And the Leicester fans like the fact that Fofana was under pressure. The former Leicester City central defender. It'll be interesting to see how Leicester cope over the next few weeks without key players, Pereira, Fatawu, how much they can get out of Jamie Vardy as Jackson collides with Okoli. He was brought down there. Palmer has continued into the box and Samare has played it off Palmer and it goes behind for a goal kick. And then was just a little tangle with Okoli and Jackson, which on another day might have generated a free kick. We'll get Darren Bent's view on that in just a second. But let's go off to the Emirates Stadium because there's some significant team news from TalkSport's Alex Crook.
Fair to say Mikel Arteta has sprung somewhat of a surprise. Declan Rice, Kai Havertz and Gabriel Martinelli all only on the bench. Calafiori is fit to start in place of the injured White. That's one of 5 changes for the home team. Marino, Jorginho, Trossard and Jesus also come in. And Chris Wood for Forest only starts on the bench as well as Awoniyi gets the nod up front. James Ward-Prowse is in for Morgan Gibbs-White. It's Arsenal against Forest.
I say this with no knowledge of where Chris Wood has been, but if he's been on international duty, I imagine that he's had a long flight, especially if it was a home game for New Zealand.
I bet he scored though. I'll tell you that. He is in the form of his life. He has been superb since he got to Forest.
57 minutes gone. And it's Leicester 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport. Chelsea have had chances to extend their lead, but Leicester are not out of it. They've shown a few skirmishes, nothing more than that. As Casey McAteer is penalised for bringing down Cucurella. It did look soft, and the fans inside the stadium of a Leicester persuasion seem to have concurred. Andy Madley has given the free kick in Chelsea's direction. He did score, by the way. 8-0 New Zealand beat Samoa, and he got a hat-trick.
Shock. Go on, Chris Wood.
Let's go off to Villa Park. Team news comes from Adam Bridge.
4 straight defeats means 4 changes for Aston Villa. Concert, Dean, Onana and Ramsey are the players that are out. Barkley and McGinn come back to start. Maatsen gets a first start in claret and blue, and Bogarts into the starting 11 for Villa 2. As for Palace, Gahey moves from his last role in midfield back into a back 3 as one. A couple of changes. Klein is out, of course. Kamada is suspended as well. Hughes and Decore gets only his 2nd start in the Premier League for Palace this season. We're live on TalkSport 2 from 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Looking forward to that, Adam. Thank you very much. Here's Cole Palmer being played down the left side of the penalty area. It took a flick on the way through. He's going to allow that to run out, and it's going to go out for a corner away to our left. So very quickly we'll go off to Goodison Park. Matt Jones.
The good news for Everton is Branthwaite is fit despite missing international duty with a groin problem. McNeil is also back after a knee injury. He replaces Mangala, the only change from a 0-0 draw with West Ham. As for Brentford, well, they're unchanged from their win over Bournemouth, so injury doubts and Mbumo, Visser and Pinnock are all past fit. It's Everton against Bournemouth from 3.
Chelsea still taking their time over this free kick. Chelsea getting ready for action. It's Everton against Brentford, which we'll keep you up to date with over the course of the 90 minutes, and all the other games on TalkSport's Game Day Live. As the ball comes in from the corner, Fernandez flicked away by Wout Fast, out to the right side, collected by João Felix. He allows it to run because it took a flick off the Belgian last, and it goes out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty. And again, Chelsea just allowing the time to tick away. They're wasting time here. It's a bit slow and laborious, and that's upsetting the Leicester supporters. They're taking an age over the set piece. They're taking an age over the throw-in, and eventually someone's going to get penalised for that. Fofana's gone over to take it. He's still not launched it back in yet. And eventually gets it into Palmer, and then he miscontrols it. It cannons off Bilal El-Khanous and goes out for a throw-in. The New Zealand versus England Test Series starts on Wednesday evening. We'll have full commentary of that exclusively live on TalkSport 2 from 10 p.m. There are 3 Test matches taking place in Christchurch, Wellington and Hamilton, so you won't miss any of the action from our team out in New Zealand. That's TalkSport 2, Wednesday evening, full Test cricket right here on the Talk Network. They are playing a lot of cricket at the moment, by the way, aren't they?
I don't mind it. Although I'm not really a Test fan. I used to be.
Keeping you up to date with everything at 2:30 today. The phone in with O'Hara and Cundy from 5:30 on TalkSport. Tomorrow, Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter, always a brilliant list, and that's from 9 o'clock tomorrow on TalkSport. And we take you round the grounds on the Sunday session, including the Championship, Swansea against Leeds tomorrow, which is live on TalkSport. We've got 2 Premier League games, Women's League Cup action and Autumn Internationals as well. Here's Oliver Skipp for Leicester, charging forward down the right side as they look at it. Out wide to McAteer, who's crossed into the box, almost fell to Vardy. Thaddeus Shield just about dealt with it. Wout fast nudges it forward. All of a sudden, Leicester are playing some football in Chelsea's half. Cucurella mistimes his tackle. It's picked up by Ndidi. He's in an offside position. There was a bit of miscommunication between Skipp and McAteer and Ndidi, and a free kick given to Chelsea in the left full-back position.
I mean, it's great play from Oliver Skipp, but I want to see him continue to drive with it. I mean, he does really well, little 1-2 with Wilfred Ndidi. I mean, he drives with it and he gets to the edge of the box. I'm thinking, well, just keep going. I mean, once you get inside the box, they can't touch you or it's a penalty. And the fact that he opts to the kind of play it backwards to McAteer, I thought opportunity gone, because Vardy made a really good run. He was 1v1 in the box with Levi Caldwell as well. And if he'd gone kept going, Oliver Skipp, then Levi Caldwell's got a decision to make. But the fact that he opted to kind of pop it off, almost let them off the hook.
You talk about Jamie Vardy, great chance one-on-one, but they haven't had a shot on goal in the game yet, a shot on target in the game yet. His conversion rate's still very strong. He's scored 4 goals from just 12 shots this season. Conversion rate of 33%, that's good. No wonder they still want to use him, but they've got to feed him.
I think that's been the problem today, and I think Wilfred Ndidi's tried to get up there alongside him, and the service into him just hasn't been great. He's not a big target man, so you can't just hit him from goal kicks and he'll hold it. You need to get him on the shoulder. You need little intricate passes, little slides down the side of defenders, and that's where you'll see the very best of Jamie Vardy.
Steve Cooper thinks the ball went out of play on this near side, but the new assistant referee said he didn't, and Madueke is escaping down the other side of the pitch now into the penalty area. He's got João Felix waiting for the ball. He took too long, telegraphed it. That allowed Fast to intervene and clear. And Chelsea build again from halfway. 63 gone. TalkSport and the Talk Network live in the East Midlands on a grey day with the rain still swirling around. I mean, it does look like an early afternoon, an early evening game, doesn't it? Where am I? It's the time difference, sorry. Here is Madueke over on the far side, trying to cut back in field. Got the sense that winter is coming. I know that this week's been a lot colder outside as well.
It's already here. It's not coming, it's here.
Here is Vardy. Caicedo gets there before Ndidi. Chelsea turn it over. Fernandes has it right side of the centre circle. Just moves the ball quickly and then pushes it into the path of Madueke, who takes on Christensen, gets to the edge of the box. He glides infield, left-footed, sets it back up for Fernandes, who swells it towards the far edge of the 6-yard box. I think that was a shot, but it was well wide of the target. Yeah, I mean, he did. If he got his head up, he could have just put his foot on it, turned out and rolled it to Correa, but he almost half-cross shot where he's trying to find that far post, but if someone's in that area, they head it in, and again, it's another opportunity gone, and Madueke there, I mean, he's got Christensen backpedaling into the box. Go past him, get a shot off. You don't always have to kind of just pop it off to the holding midfield player. He's got him there 1v1. Try and manipulate the ball, go past him and get a shot off. Enzo Fernandez, who had a busy trip this week to Argentina. He played against Paraguay and Peru. He lost to Paraguay, actually. This is his 7th start of the season. I wonder whether or not Chelsea just thinking about making changes to try and liven up the attack, just to put the game beyond Leicester, because they've had a lot of the ball, but they haven't converted that into goals. It's still only 1-0, but Madueke has been played in here. Oh, across comes Christensen and reads it brilliantly. Intervenes before it reaches the England winger, and it's back towards Hermansen away to our left-hand side. Yeah, I wonder if maybe Enzo Maresca's looking at this, because I think if you're Leicester, you're quite happy. It's still only 1-0. All it takes is a shot, or you never know, a little bit of quality. They're back in the game. But I just don't think Chelsea have done enough in the final third. Certainly appears that way. Here is El Canous, who curls the ball into an area for Casey McAteer to run into. Again, Cucurella goes towards the ball, and again there's a little bit of the old sort of knowledge there. He knew that if he got there just slightly ahead of McAteer and threw himself to the ground, that was going to be a free kick, and that's what's been given. Yeah, a little bit of inexperience there in that situation there. Just put the brakes on. Like Cucurella, the ball's not going to go out of play. Cucurella has got a decision to make then. If you don't foul him, either tries to shield the ball out, or he takes it in, gives it back to the goalkeeper, and lets to get up. The moment you put any kind of hands on him, you're always going to get the foul against you. Yellow card for Robert Sanchez for taking too long over the free kick. Chelsea delaying. I don't understand, right? Chelsea have got what you would consider, if you look at the two sets of 11s, the better players. Chelsea are ahead on the scoreboard. Chelsea have more of the ball. Why do they need to waste time with 24 minutes to go? I don't get it. You might as well try and play quick, get the ball in an area to trouble Leicester, get further ahead in the game, and then you can do what you want after that. At 1-0, you're almost sort of winding everybody up inside the stadium, creating a more hostile environment to play in, and encouraging Leicester to come on the ball because you're not putting them to bed.
I think they're almost trying to take the sting out of the game by slowing it down and just...
There's not exactly much sting in it.
I understand that, but that's what it tells me, is that they're thinking, do you know what, just for 5-10 minutes we'll slow it down a little bit. We're not really getting much joy in that final third. We're trying to do what we can in terms of possession and trying to make Leicester work, but it's not quite happening, so we'll just slow it down just a little bit.
Here is Enzo Fernandez popping it to the left and João Felix. There's space on the far side for Madueke if they can get it to him. They've gone via Cole Palmer, who has found Madueke now, who just tried to get it into the box. He just sort of eased it into the box, but there's no real precision or pace on the ball, and it goes out and goes away for another corner. Steve Cooper's going to get booked here, isn't he? Andy Madley stopped the game. The fourth official, who is now Mark Scholes, has whispered in the referee's ear, and Steve Cooper is going to be spoken to. Is it Steve Cooper who's going to be Yeah, Steve Cooper's going to be spoken to. Yellow card for the Leicester City manager.
Probably justified. I think he's losing. He lost his head a little bit there. I think it was the Cucurella one with McAteer, where he goes down and he's almost run around, had a little scream up with the fourth official. But again, in that type of scenario there, the defender's always... If you don't touch the defender, then Cucurella's got a decision to make. But the moment you touch him at all in his back, he's going to go down.
Chelsea have a corner over on the far side. They lead by a goal to nil here. They've got João Felix and Fernandez stationed on the edge of the penalty area. It's a right-footed ball deep towards the far post, just over the head of Fofana, and it will go out of play and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. I think maybe Steve Cooper's thinking about making changes. We'll see what happens there. Chelsea still warming players up away to our left-hand side. And it is a goal kick. Leicester should have confidence of getting something because they almost score in every game, and Chelsea are not the best defensively. And they are still looking for the perfect blend in midfield. Maresca talked about needing Lavia in the middle alongside Caicedo to bring the required amount of physicality, and I'm still not entirely sure where Enzo Fernandez fits into that.
Do you know, I was really looking forward to watching Caicedo today. He's brilliant. He is really good, Caicedo. I mean, when he first got it for a lot of money, over 100 million, question marks were raised.
He was good at Brighton as well.
He was very good at Brighton, but he had a kind of grace and in period at Chelsea. But since then, he's been absolutely outstanding. I mean, this season he's been probably one of their best players. And even today in possession, even though he got booked earlier on, doesn't lunge in, is comfortable just taking the ball. He's a couple of little passes to kind of set them away on counter-attacks, just sensing when the danger's coming as well. He's been really impressive today.
Madueke, who's seen more of the ball than anybody else, glides into the box once again. It comes to Fofana, edge of the area, who started the attack with a rampaging run down the right side. Infield it goes. Chelsea again just happy to keep hold of possession inside opposition territory. Worked out to the left where it's with Badia Shiel on to João Felix. Going to be a change here. Jordan Ayew, I think, is going to come on. And after picking up an injury on international duty, it's a welcome sight to see him ready to play for Leicester this afternoon. Here is Colwell. And then on to Fofana. Back to Fofana again. Chelsea keeping hold of possession on the halfway line. 20 minutes to go. And I think at the beginning of the season, all Leicester really wanted to do was stay up, get something from this game, and they will be properly encouraged. And they might, you know. Here's Casey McAteer going down the right. Samari trying to find him, almost did. And they still feel as if there's something in this for them. They're bringing on Mavididi and Ayew here, because they think Chelsea have just taken their foot off the gas. Cole Palmer fouled on halfway. Substitutions about to take place. Steve Cooper's going mad again. Can't believe the foul's gone against them. It's currently Leicester 0, Chelsea 1. The latest odds are available on Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Leicester 50 to 1 to come back and win the game. Chelsea 9 to 1 on. The draw is 6 to 1. It's all thanks to Betfair. Betfair's safer gambling tools are designed so that you can bet at your best. You can learn more at safergambling.betfair.com. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Casey McAteer and Wilfred Ndidi are off. Ayew and Mavididi are on. It's an aggressive substitution.
Here it is, yeah, and I think Jordan Ayew will help in terms of taking possession of the ball. carry him up the pitch as well. Very strong, very industrial as well. And they needed to change something. I quite like the fact that El Khanous is probably going to play at that number 10, and then Mavididi from the left, who was brilliant last season. But this will just make Chelsea, again, maybe just kick into gear a little bit, because a bit lacklustre, Chelsea, the second half.
1-0 they lead, and then Robert Sanchez, who's closed down by Jamie Vardy, just skews his clearance out on this near side. And that goalkeeping situation is interesting. Sanchez has had his wobbles. They've got a young, well-thought-of goalkeeper in Jorgensen on the bench. Here's Ayew down the right-hand side. They were linked with Queven Kelleher over the international break, but apparently they retained faith in Sanchez, and Jorgensen are not going to pursue an interest in Kelleher. I mean, if it was me, I'd be laying down as much money as I could muster for Queven Kelleher. I think he's a terrific goalkeeper.
Yeah, agree, especially with Mavidashvili as well going in at Liverpool next season.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not convinced with Robert Sanchez. Yeah, I almost feel like this season watching him, he makes some spectacular saves, but then sometimes the basics that go in, you think, well come on, like, how has that gone in? So that was certainly an area when I look at this Chelsea side where they probably can improve. I think it's the goalkeeper.
He played in the second half of Spain's game against Switzerland and conceded 2 goals in that game. And he does have a moment of madness in him, but so far he's kept a clean sheet here at Leicester this lunchtime. Here is Wout Faes, chipping the ball down the right, away by Badiashile, picked up by Cucurella, who gets a little whack in the back from James Justin. The referee says play on. Felix, again, no, Chelsea don't release the ball quickly. They're happy just to slow it down and walk back the ball. I know that Maresca feels if you do that, you keep control of the game more, because you don't allow a team to attack you. And when you're in front on the scoreboard, you've got every chance of seeing it out if you keep the ball. But at the same time, I think there's more in the game for them. Here's Fofana down the right, looking for Madueke, whose ball into the box goes straight into the arms of Hermansen because no one's caught up with him.
Do you know, it's a great ball from Noni Madueke, and he's got every right to scream at Nicholas Jackson, get across the near post, because he rolls it along the floor at right pace, and Hermansen comes out to the 6-yard box to claim it. Someone's got to make a run across the goalkeeper, and it's a tap-in.
Shrewsbury 3, Birmingham 2. Might be in for a grandstand finish at Shrewsbury, where they went into a 3-1 lead. But Birmingham, who have won 7 of their last 9 away games in all competitions, are back in the game with 12 minutes to go at the Crown Meadow. Elsewhere, Burnley still lead Bristol City by a goal to nil in the Championship. Sheffield United still 2-1 up, but down to 10 players at Coventry. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff 1. In League 1, it's Bolton 1, Blackpool 1. Shrewsbury 3, Birmingham 1. Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 0, and in League 2, Grimsby 0, Colchester 0, and Notts County 0, Newport County 0. 1-0 to Chelsea here in the Premier League. We'll go round the grounds in the Premier League from 2:30 in Adrian Durham this afternoon. We've got 16 more games. Oh no, we're in the 17th and 16 games, aren't we? There's 15 more games to bring you on the TalkSport network before December starts, and then 50 live games in December as well. Here is Madueke moving forward. Palmer has played him in. Madueke into the penalty area, twisting, turning, and causing Christensen all sorts of problems. Doesn't release the ball, keeps hold of it. He's joined by Mavididi now, and the ball goes back to Fofana instead. But poor old Christensen there, he's probably got twisted veins, I think.
I mean, not Madueke. We should have put the ball in earlier.
Here is Cucurella lifting the ball towards Jackson with a header, comes back out and it's prodded in. Enzo Fernandez finishing up a move which was floated into the far post. Jackson got ahead of his defender, almost inexplicably so. Hermansen made the save, and Enzo Fernandez was there to dab the ball home from 6 yards out, and Chelsea make it 2-0.
Beautiful cross from Mark Cucurella. He doesn't try and smash it in there, he just leaves it in an area, and to be fair, Nicholas Jackson, I think he's fighting with a Coley. He tries to head it back across the goalkeeper, and it's a really good save from Hermansen. But then Enzo Fernandez doing what all good attacking midfield players should do, following up just in case something happens, and he heads it in the empty net. But it's a lovely ball from Mark Cucurella. He just leaves it in there. A Coley doesn't want any part of it with Nicholas Jackson, and then Enzo Fernandez backing it up, and it's 2-0 Chelsea.
That's dreadful defending. I'm sorry, that's dreadful defending. I know he's done very well, Jackson, to get on it. but Coley doesn't get involved. Coley's got to take charge of the situation, hasn't he?
Well, we've seen both centre-halves and Leicester get bullied by Nicholas Jackson twice. The first goal for Wildface, for Jackson's first one, and in that situation there, he almost turns around and doesn't even face the ball. He's too worried about where Nicholas Jackson is. But as I said, the goal comes from
a great cross.
Beautiful cross from Marc Cucurella. But Enzo Fernandez has taken a chance. He's got himself in there. Hermanson makes a great save, and then he heads it in the empty net, and it's 2-0 Chelsea. But that goal all comes from Marc Cucurella. Lovely cross.
Well, Enzo Fernandez gets his first goal of the season. And it's a crucial goal. It's a goal that, unless a miracle happens and Leicester have a shot on target in the game, will mean that Chelsea end up winning the match and going within a point of Manchester City.
Is that the miracle, shot on target?
Correct. Colchester lead Grimsby by 1-0. Jackson coming forward. Okoli gets there ahead of him this time and plays it into Mabadidi. Mabadidi charges forward. And then it's played out towards the right-hand side and collected by Justin. Justin infield into Mabadidi. Wanders into a sea of guava ice shirts and Chelsea bring the ball away. Well, Chelsea haven't had to be at their very best today to get this 3 points. They were good in the first half an hour. They basically should have won the game during that period. They didn't, but they have gone on and scored their second goal eventually. Palmer now looking for another one. Moves to the edge of the box, floats the ball into the penalty area, away by Justin. And it's picked up by Ayew and will be cleared away. Here is Ayew on halfway. Now, there was a scenario, I think, during the build-up to the goal where Leicester had a man down inside the Chelsea half of the field. Chelsea didn't kick the ball out of play, continued their attack. I wonder whether or not Steve Cooper will be upset about that when I speak to him and live on TalkSport straight after the game.
I don't think it was a bad challenge. I just think he came out second best, so you can't really have any complaints about that, because there was a more than enough that happened prior to that tackle, afterwards, when the ball ended up in the back of the net. You could talk about Okoli's defending, you could pick bones at that. The fact that Marc Cucurella had like 5 yards of space on the edge of Leicester's own box. There's so many different scenarios before that he can complain about, rather than the actual challenge on the edge in Chelsea's half.
15 minutes in and 15 minutes from time. Chelsea lead Leicester by 2-0. And 2 changes about to come. Decordova-Reid and Patson Daka coming on. El Khanous coming off. And the other one, I think, coming off for Leicester City is going to be Jamie Vardy. And Daka, who's being seen for the first time in Leicester colours since April, returns from injury to replace the 37-year-old, knowing that the game is up. Chelsea about to bring on Christopher Nkunku, who is actually their top scorer with 10 goals this season.
Yeah, he's a good player. Hasn't maybe got going in the league yet, and most of his goals, I'm guessing, have come in the Conference League, but still a very, very good player. I remember watching him for Leipzig and scoring that hat-trick against Manchester City at the Etihad. He certainly can finish.
Yes, only one has come in the Premier League this season for Christopher Nkunku. Here is Jackson. There's so much space over on the far side for Noni Madueke, and they haven't used it. He's turned backwards as Jackson. Cucurella on to João Felix.
Do you know what's been really impressive, Sam, today as well? And it's been nice being here live and watching it. Nicholas Jackson's movement is fantastic, and he doesn't moan when he doesn't get the ball. He must make about... Every single time they break, he makes an intelligent run down a channel, he's in between.
Turned over by Fernandez. Madueke's moving to the right. Palmer feeds him. Madueke into the penalty area, tries to sort of feather the ball into the far corner and didn't get enough power on it, and it's cleared away. Chelsea lead by 2-0. There should be more, really. Here is Decordova-Reid. Cucurella comes across. He wins the ball and then he tries to kick clear and falls over. Goes straight out for a throw-in, but there's going to be a double change for Chelsea, and on come Lavia and Nkunku.
Yeah, to give them that balance in the middle of the park with Lavia, and I'm guessing it will be probably Enzo. Caicedo's been fantastic again for me. He's been brilliant today. He's had that book in, but he's not lunged in since then. He's just sensed danger. He's picked it up. He's set them on 1 or 2 counter attacks as well. Yeah, he's been brilliant.
João Felix is the first man to come off, and Moises Caicedo is the second man to come off. So it means that Enzo Fernandez is going to stay on, and Romeo Lavia is going to come on. Decordova-Reid, who's only just come back from injury himself, by the way, for Leicester City, missed the last 2, has gone up to the right-hand side. Daxon Datsun. Patson Daka. Datsun was an old car, wasn't it? Back in the day. Clapped out old...
I think you're slightly older than me, Sam, so if I'm honest, I can't really remember.
I think Datsun was Nissan before it was Nissan.
See, now you're talking foreign language to me, I don't know about...
I don't think... listen, knowing you as I do, I don't think you'd have a Nissan or a Datsun. 10 minutes to go. Mavididi playing on the left. Here's Decord over Reed. Out to Justin, who wanders into the middle of the park. He just pushes the ball on to Caleb Okoli. 9 minutes to go, live on Talk Sport. Collected over on the far side into the near post, and across comes Patson Daka, but he's snuffed behind and put out by Badia Shield. Badia Shield saying he didn't get a touch on the ball.
Yeah, good run there. Patson Daka. He sensed that Christensen couldn't get a good ball into the box, so he made that sprint to the near post, tried to make a good ball out of a bad ball, but again, I thought it was good defending from Badia Shield, just getting his body in the right position.
Corner for Leicester, 2-1 there, 2-0 the scoreline to Chelsea here on Talk Sport. 2-0 at the King Power Stadium, and an advantage that will give the best away attack in the league. A point distance to Manchester City, play Tottenham at 5:30. A short corner into Mavididi, a little back heel into Christensen. Christensen trying to take the ball on and get beyond Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer goes across, the little back heel falls to Wesley Fofana, who's fouled by Decord over Reed. It's going to be a free kick on this near side. Commentary 2, Sheffield United 2. Tyrese Campbell has scored. Akmahodic has been sent off, but it's Brandon Asante Thomas who scored the goal right at the... Bobby Thomas, sorry, who scored the goal right at the very end of the match to level things up. Rodoni with the assist over on Talk Sport 2. And it'll be interesting to see what that does to the table. We'll have a quick glance at that for you. You are listening to Leicester 0, Chelsea 2 on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps 120,000 people every day. Jadon Sancho about to come on for Chelsea. Sheffield United still will go top of the table, but their advantage over Sunderland will be just a point, and Sunderland will have a game in hand. Coventry will move up above Oxford with a point. Cardiff still in the bottom 3 if they complete that game unscathed. It's 1-1 there as well against Sheffield Wednesday. About an upturn in fortune under Danny Roll this early part of the season. Sancho warming up, Chelsea warming up for victory here. They lead by 2-0. And the ball is on the edge of the penalty area with Fofana. I just wonder what you think Chelsea are expected to achieve this season. They have the youngest average age starting 11 in the Premier League this campaign. They have one of the best attacks. No one has scored more goals on the road than them this season. They got 14. And the defending here as Mavididi gets into the box is challenged by Fofana. They look at it, and Chelsea managed to get it clear up to Cole Palmer. I wonder or not the VAR will look at it. The referee has no indication so far that he's going to do so. He has now caused a foul, and he's just listening to the VAR, Paul Tierney. Is there enough to overturn his initial decision and referee's call and give a penalty kick?
Well, first glance I thought, oh, it looks like a penalty, and the reaction from Mavididi, oh, I think it might be a penalty. I mean, the only question I'd say is, does Mavididi leave his leg there for, I think it's Wesley Fofana to take it away? That's the only thing you'd have to say, but I mean, it's great skill from Mavididi just to trot past him, but I think he might leave his legs there, and I'm not quite sure it's a penalty.
No foul. And it's not going to be a penalty. I mean, it's a surprise because Chelsea seem to give away a penalty every single game. But Jadon Sancho is coming on, and off comes Noni Madueke for the final few minutes of the game. It doesn't mean that Chelsea's attack has a bit of an odd balance to it now, because you've got Sancho, who predominantly plays on the left-hand side, and then you've got Nkunku, Palmer and Jackson who all play centrally. But the big screen has shown a replay of the incident and said that there's no foul in it. I mean, if you watch it, I don't think there is a foul in it, to be honest with you, but the Leicester crowd think that there is.
Yeah, I think almost Mavididi, he's the one who initiates the contact with the defender. I don't think the defender makes a challenge, doesn't stick a leg out either.
Ball cleared by Cucurella, upfield towards Jackson. Jackson gets the better of Sumare this time, and then Sumare recovers well. Jackson goes down, it runs all the way through to Hermanson. Yep. I mean, they're top scorers in the Conference League as well, Chelsea. What do you expect them to achieve this season?
Well, I definitely expect them to win the Conference League. I just think that's a fact. But I think now, I think it would have been the question would have been, and the answer, top four, I'd say now has to be the aim. I think certainly getting back into Europe would have been the aim at the start of the season. But I think how well they've done this early part of the season, I think it has to be top four now, son, for sure.
They have a 3-point advantage over Arsenal as Arsenal take on Nottingham Forest a little bit later. They have a 4-goal advantage over them in terms of goal difference. Manchester City play at 5:30. They're 6 points back to Liverpool, who play tomorrow against Southampton. And could they have conceded a penalty here?
No, well, I don't think Fofana does anything.
I think once the referee makes that call, I don't think they're going to overturn that. That's not a clear error. I mean, if he'd given the penalty, would there be enough to overturn it?
Probably, because Wesley Fofana doesn't stick his leg up.
No,
he just stands still.
Sort of stands still and he runs into him, really. But the Leicester fans aren't happy. That is true. And it remains Leicester 0, Chelsea 2. Here is Fofana and Colwell and Lavia getting the better of Daka, and somehow the free kick has gone in favour of Leicester City.
Can't wipe that one out, because I thought Patson Daka was the one who fouled I think it was Colwell, yeah, but the referee the last 10 minutes is just, I think he got the penalty decision absolutely spot on, but there's one or two kind of little, I'm not saying he's been influenced by the crowd, but one or two little incidents where he's a bit like...
Is he second guessing himself now because he thinks the crowd think that he should have called a penalty?
Potentially, because that one there should have gone the other way, because that wasn't a foul on Patson Daka.
Well, Leicester are behind again, and they've got 3 minutes to get, oh dear, to get back in the game, but they're not going to do that because Wout Faes has completely misread the situation, standing in an offside position, runs towards the ball after the ball's played down the side. He's clearly in an offside position, and then goes, oh no, I can't touch it, but got in the way of the ball, therefore looked as if he was about to touch it. The flag went up, and the free kick that they had is completely wasted, and Chelsea have got the ball back again. What have they got to do? They need new players in January. I think Steve Cooper thinks that actually they didn't have a particularly good window. It took too long for them to get the players in that he wanted during the summer period. But he wants starters that can go straight into the team.
Yeah, it's who do you bring in, and what players can they find that are going to improve this squad? Of course, there's players out there, and your scouting network has to be incredible. But the fact that they've looked really passive today, they look like there's no real source of goals. If Vardy doesn't score, who's going to get the goals?
They need a forward, don't they?
They do.
I think they need a right back as well, because Ricardo Pereira is not going to play enough games, and Justin prefers to play on the left. Christensen's more of a left back than a right back, and that is an area of weakness, I think.
Even a centre half, because I wasn't convinced first time around with Wout Faes when they were first in the Premier League, but then he had a good season last season in the Championship. But again, this season there just hasn't been good enough. And again, the goal that Nicholas Jackson scores, the first one, is a prime example of that.
2-0 to Chelsea with 90 seconds to go. Chelsea, who are going to pick up a 5th away win in all competitions this season. Going to be 4 wins in a row for Chelsea in the 12:30 time slot. They like being on TalkSport at 12:30 on a Saturday afternoon.
Because they can have their plans in the evening then, can't they? They've got the rest of the day to do what they want. King's Road and all that.
Yeah, that's what a early 2000s footballer thinks the current footballers still do.
Honestly, how quickly can I get back from the Valley? That's not too far away from is it?
Well, when Gary Lineker came back to live in Leicester with a big smile on his face after leaving Japan, they made a Walker's Crisps advert that used Peters and Lee Welcome Home as its soundtrack. I wonder if Enzo Maresca is going to be quietly humming that on the sidelines as this game comes to its conclusion. And one of the lines in that song is come on in and close the door. Well, Leicester haven't managed to close the door again today. In fact, 2 defensive mishaps actually have probably cost them the game. In fact, there's a lot more to it than that, and Chelsea have controlled the match from start to finish. But if we're completely honest, those 2 goals that Chelsea have scored have come from moments where the central defenders have been bullied and a bit of switching off just in front of them.
Exactly, neither of them have dealt with the situation, and that's why Chelsea find themselves 2 up. Because there's not really been a lot in the game. Yes, I think Chelsea have been the better of the 2 sides, and Leicester have been a little bit passive, but as you said, they've almost gifted them 2 goals.
Palmer to Nkunku, right-footed, and he hits it from the edge of the D right through the middle of the post, but very high. In fact, that would have got him a couple of extra points over at Welford Road, just a couple of steps from here. Another change, Jackson is off, and now Kiernan Drewsbury Hall is coming on for Chelsea. Back at Leicester, and he gets a little ripple of applause from one or two of the Leicester supporters. There's a bloke down in front of us in a green jacket and a hoodie, and he gets oh, now they're all getting involved. Yeah, they like him. They still like him despite his new colours.
He was very good last season though, winning for Leicester.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He hasn't had much of a chance really for Chelsea this season in the main competition. He's part of the B team really. It's his 11th appearance of the season. 7 of those have come in that B team, the cup team that play on a Thursday night in the Conference League and play in the League Cup competition, although their participation in that is over now. That's something that Enzo Maresca has done really well. He's kept players fresh by utilising them in that competition, and he's also kept them interested.
That's the biggest job, I think, and you've got to give him credit for that, because in a club like Chelsea, there'll be a lot of egos, World Cup winners, big name players. The fact we've not heard any whispers of anyone who's kind of unhappy that they're not getting many minutes, he's kept everyone kind of chomping at the bit, and João Felix getting his opportunity today. That's really good man management, that is.
Yeah, 2 big decisions in the game. The red card early in the match, Wilfred Ndidi maybe could have been sent off. Leicester will claim they should have had a penalty, but maybe when we say these things even themselves out, might be an example of that. Steve Cooper, I think, will be a little bit upset because they've struggled in the last few weeks. It's going to be 4 defeats in 5 now for Leicester. Here is Palmer as Leicester try to get a free kick into the box. They fail to do so. Chelsea don't deal with it. Lavia gives it away. It's picked up by Mabadidi, and Deco-Dover-Reid is in behind, and the offside flag stops Leicester from getting a penalty because referee Andy Madley ran over, had his hands ready and poised to give a penalty kick, and he will give one, by the way, if this offside is not correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great pass from Mabadidi as well, by the way, and he's in on goal. And yeah, it would be a penalty. I mean, it's really clumsy from Lavia.
So in which case, in order for this penalty to take, he must have given a penalty.
He's onside. He's onside.
He must have given a penalty.
Yeah, he's onside. It's going to be a penalty.
Because if he hasn't given a penalty, they can't go back and look at the offside decision. They're checking that offside decision now, so he must give the penalty before he blows for the offside decision. Did he give it?
Sam, he's a yard onside. So it's whether that's all it can be. Whether he gave the penalty or not, because the run from Deco-Dover-Reid is perfect. He's about a yard onside.
Well, he has to have given the penalty, right? Because they can't just overturn an offside and say, well, it wasn't offside now, because that's not a match-changing incident.
No, I mean, you can see here from the replay. Look how he's clearly onside.
He's clearly onside.
The offside is.
The question is, did he initially give a penalty? If he did give a penalty, he's going to give one now.
It has to be. I mean, it looked like to me that he was about to give it to him. So he's having a conversation now, but again, it's not the offside, it's definitely a penalty. If he's blown and given the penalty.
It's a penalty, and I wonder whether or not that means there's going to be some more punishment as well, because was there a yellow card? Yeah, it's going to be a yellow card for Romeo Lavia. Well, I told you Chelsea concede a penalty every single game, and they have done. Honestly, they've conceded the most penalties in the Premier League this season. This is the 4th they've given away. Mabadidi scored one against Tranmere. Vardy scored one against Southampton. He's not on the pitch. Ayew has picked the ball up. Whether he takes it or not is a different matter.
Great play, though. For Mabadidi, the pass to Deco-Dover-Reid was fantastic. Outside of the boot, great pass.
Well, the referee obviously must have given a penalty. Then the assistant on the near side has gone offside. They've checked that isn't the case. They've gone back and given the penalty as a result. So now they do have their penalty. Lavia has been penalised with a yellow card, and Ayew is stepping up to take the spot kick against Robert Sanchez. Sanchez eyeballs him. This for 2-1 in the final few seconds of the game. Leicester City about to strike from the penalty spot. It's Ayew steps up, right-footed, and into the corner of the net. And Sanchez went the right way but didn't get close enough to it, and Leicester City are on the scoreboard right at the end of the game in stoppage time. Is there enough time for an equaliser? Probably not. It might be a little bit too little too late. But Jordan Ayew converts, and Leicester are on the board.
Very bizarre celebration from Jordan Iron. It's a great penalty. He almost waits, really slow run up, and just takes that little breath before he strikes the ball. And I said Sanchez goes the right way, but there's enough power on there to beat the goalkeeper. But there was no real urgency to go and get the ball at the back of the net. He almost just scores the penalty and just stands there. There was no real urgency to go and get the ball back, because I think there'll still be a couple more added on because of that penalty.
Well, there might be. We are back underway. I think that was only the second time they've hit the target in the game, Leicester City. They got their penalty in the end, and it's 2-1. I've got to admit, I am furious, and I'll tell you why. I've got 2-0 Chelsea in Curse of the Commentator with Ray Parlour on the breakfast show, and he's got 2-1 and Jackson.
Don't worry, this might finish 2-2 or 3-1, so you might both be wrong.
Well, I need another goal now. I can't possibly have him winning. He'll catch me up, maybe even overtake me with that result. That won't make me happy at all. Interesting though, because what's happened here is that the replacement linesman is the one who gave the offside, on this near side when it wasn't offside. And that exchange between the referee and the assistant on the side is key. I mean, I didn't hear the referee blow his whistle.
Me neither. But I could tell I knew full well it was a penalty, and he was clearly onside as well.
It was definitely a penalty, and I think the right decision has been got to.
Yeah.
But the mechanics of which I think will be poured across by some. The producer's just whispered in my ear, it doesn't matter. Yeah? Doesn't it? Okay, Curse of the Commentator on Friday does matter, mate. I'll have you that. 97 minutes gone. Leicester 1, Chelsea 2. Yeah, we'll reconvene, Ray and I, every Friday morning on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Chelsea trying to hold the ball in the corner, which is a bit unsavoury now. They should have had this game won a long time ago. But they do have this silly habit of giving away penalty kicks. And they do have a habit of not finishing off matches. And now, Leicester have a free kick and they want to take it quickly, and they have done. And they've shot it upfield towards James Justin. Faust tries to get there. It's away by the Chelsea defence. And Coley, I don't know what on earth he was doing, but he's given the ball away to Nkunku on this near side. Decordova-Reid trying to win it. We are in the 98th minute, by the way. Here is Decordova-Reid again on this near side. He's stopped by Cucurella, and again Leicester want to get it moving. Oh, they've got it moving too quickly. What on earth are they doing?
Well, James Justin there, just leave the ball, put the ball down and put it in the box. In fact, you're trying to put it out short. You're just causing themselves problems.
Cucurella tries to get there. The ball is loose in midfield. The whistle goes. Chelsea do get away with it. It's not a great performance by Leicester, but they did give themselves the encouragement of a late charge because of the fact that they won a penalty in stoppage time, and the man that led Leicester to the Championship titles inflicted their latest defeat in the Premier League, their 6th of the season. He has come back to the King Power Stadium. He's taken 3 points, and it will increase the pressure, I think, on his successor. Leicester a little bit aggrieved that there wasn't more time added on at the end of the 90 minutes, and whether or not the debate about Steve Cooper is fair, what is not up for debate is that Chelsea are heading in the right direction. Whether they're doing that at a quick enough pace to satisfy everyone remains to be seen. But Leicester have found themselves in a situation where it's now 4 defeats in 5 games for the Foxes. Chelsea continue with another win on the road, and there is a problem for Levi Colwill that Chelsea are going to have to deal with as well, because late in the game he's gone down and he is still receiving treatment in the penalty area. It's finished. Leicester 1, Chelsea 2.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much. Yeah, we can still see Levi Colwill down on the pitch. Not something you see at the end of a game usually, but hopefully not too much cause for concern for Chelsea, who, as Sam rightly said, are heading in the right direction. After this early kick-off, they are within 1 point of Manchester City. They remain in 3rd. As for Leicester, they slipped down a place to 16th. Chelsea players heading over to say thank you to their away supporters, who many of whom I saw on the train actually, and they are celebrating. They know this is a good result for them, because Enzo Maresca coming here, there could have been a lot of pressure on him. They rode a little bit of the Leicester pressure as well. They rode the wave of that, and they do manage to take all 3 points home. They possibly should have, could have wrapped up this game a lot earlier, and Leicester City really, well, too little too late for them. They'll salvage a little bit of pride by scoring. They've scored now in every single home game, at least. That record is still intact, but it does end with a defeat here. The Leicester players, they're shaking hands. They're a little bit despondent. They know that they've got a lot of work to do here, and certainly they do, because the stadium is emptied out pretty quickly. There was a lot of jittery nerves through much of that game in here as well. You wonder how long that pressure is going to last on Steve Cooper. He's got to get points on the board, and today was not to be for Leicester City. So they do slip down the place. Always there, isn't it, that threat of dropping into the relegation zone. They're still not there yet, but it's not a good result for them. Another defeat for Steve Cooper and his side. Darren Bent, overall you can't argue that Chelsea deserved to win it. What did you make of the manner of the victory?
Yeah, I think on the grand scheme of things, Chelsea were the better side, caused Leicester more problems. I mean, you look at the two goals though, Leicester have practically given Chelsea the two goals. The first one from Wout Faes, rather than just dealing with the situation, he tries to show everyone how strong he is, gets caught by Nicholas Jackson, and by the way, it is a fantastic finish from Nicholas Jackson. The little touch on the outside of the boot into the far corner. And then the second one, Coley gets wrapped up with Nicholas Jackson as well, rather than holding his position and dealing with the cross, which was a superb cross from Marc Cucurella. He tries to fight Nicholas Jackson, who comes off second best again, and it's a great save from Hermanson, and then Enzo Fernandez finishing off the second one. But yeah, Chelsea, I think they did enough just to win the game. A little bit nervy towards the end, which was the right decision, the penalty for Leicester. But from Chelsea coming up here, it was always going to be a tricky game. I think they've got the job done really, really well, and they can move on to the next one.
Yeah, for Chelsea it's definitely a good result. I just want to ask you about Leicester again. They've averaged about 47% possession so far this season. This was certainly a new low, I would say, 36% against Chelsea's 63. What is Steve Cooper going to do to wreck?
All right, people, it's all over here. Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2, guys. Here, full-time results coming in here, Premier League action tonight. And yeah, I think Chelsea, it would have been more, guys. It would have been at least 3-4 goals for Chelsea, but they did actually capitalize on the defensive errors, defensive mistakes, and defensive lapses